Velocity can feel it. Velocity have done it. 3-2. They take the grand finals and are your undisputed champions.
Shivy, he's got to do something about it. The spike is ticking, but wrap up with the triple kill to end it off. Your champions are Team Tamelas.
My eyes are better than yours.
And Hirsch answers back onto his own phone as well.
Let's have some fun, yeah?
Up forward. Esports with the paranoia in hand, and it's gonna be Hiko.
You can't catch us.
Corbin answers back. One to Horse being able to take down one.
I'm not just an archer, you know.
One on A-Long, but Noble Esports, they are.
Watch them run.
Okay, so they're just wanting to close it out real quickly. The flash comes through from the side of Sammy being able to blind out three.
But Sammy might just take his time, slashing away at that door, and he might just be pulled up upon. There it is, Sammy, but Blackhawk's gonna wrap that up, and that is Noble Esports making their way over to the quarterfinals. Hey guys, and welcome back to the LG Ultragear TEC Challengers Series 4. Powered by Ideapad Gaming and AMD, we have ACT as our fiber partner and AFK Gaming as our media partner. It's a new day and it is the quarterfinals, and you know what that means. It's going to be a best of 3 from now onwards. My name is Apollonia. I'll be your host and caster for today, and joining me is CA, caster and analyst. So CA, I'm super excited because the upcoming match is going to be TRYOUTS versus Noble Esports, and we've seen quite a bit of both these teams. So let's head over into the map screen and have a look at what we will have in store for the best of 3. Now, a team has to win 2 maps, and it ultimately allows them to move on to the semifinals in the winners bracket. And since it's a double elimination, this is not the last time you'll see your favorite team if they unfortunately don't make it. So for the first map, it's going to be Ascent. What are your thoughts, CA?
Yeah, Ascent is a really interesting map to start off because both of these teams, they're teams that we've seen recently on stream and in a sort of different form, in the sense that Noble we saw without Sai. I believe they'll be continuing without Sai for today. And even without Sai, they looked absolutely unstoppable. Hika and Sami really popping off in that team, combined with Rexy's consistency, was what got them on top. But tryouts, they're the underdogs, they're the team, the dark horse of sorts to look out for, because just yesterday we saw them pull off one of the most insane comebacks of all time, coming down all the way from 9-3 to win 16-14 in overtime. This is a team that has the mental fortitude to be able to reach the very top, and we'll have to see if they can take down Noble on their way.
Indeed, TRYOUTS, they're actually making their debut here in the Challenger Series 4. I don't recall seeing them any time earlier, but it's really exciting because, the fact that they've made it all the way to the quarterfinals, they definitely pack a punch. And now we can see it is the agent select screen and Blackhawk and Harsh on the side of Noble Esports. Even Sami, they've got their picks locked in. Pretty standard, Blackhawk definitely standing in for Sai, who isn't available at this time. And he has proven to be a highlight clips there. Now, let's take a look over at TRYOUTS. What are your thoughts, CA, there?
Yeah, and the side of tryouts for me, the people to watch out for are Fetan and Rexy, because Fetan and Rexy really just popped off of their minds yesterday. Fetan, he was able to find just insane clutches in rounds where you think it's done and dusted. So he's someone to definitely watch out for. But on that note, the same goes for Noble. One of the biggest things I liked about Noble in their previous matchup was Blackhawk's versatility. We've seen him play the Sova, we've seen him play the Cypher. He's playing the Omen for Noble, and he looked really good doing the same. What this also does is push Sami back into his favored jet, and Sami and Hika on that double duelist role, they just pop off.
Indeed, and is Hika gonna take that signature raise? He does, and it looks like it is going to be an exact same composition. And we kind of understand it, when we reach the later tiers of the tournament, that's where competition gets heavy, and the meta is pretty set. So these teams, they might have a similar approach, but it's all gonna come down to which team has the best synergy. They can work together and combo their abilities. What do you think makes a really strong team, and how do you think TRYOUTS or Noble Esports, how do you think they have to approach the game to get the upper hand, considering, it's very similar?
I think at this stage, we're in the winners bracket quarterfinals. Every single team, they've displayed that they have the mechanical potential to be the best of the best. So what really makes a difference between all of these teams ends up being the macro gameplay, the IGL, the calls coming out, and the idea of where you want to go and when you really want to make that particular move is what ends up being the major difference. And for Noble, while they don't have the regular IGL inside, they still have a very experienced person in Rexy. So I'm looking at him to be able to make sure that Noble's macro gameplay is on point. Whereas on the other side for tryouts, it's all about how much pressure can they withstand, because if they can withstand a significant amount of pressure and sort of surprise Noble with their mental fortitude, I think tryouts can come out on top.
Indeed, a little bit of a pause there, but both teams just getting themselves set. And let's just pull up the scoreboard and have a look at who is playing what agent once again. And, you know, Blackhawk, always signature on that Omen. We have Sami on the Jet, and he'll be going up against Ghost on the Jet. So, you know, that's going to be pretty cool. And Vexy as well, a player that, you know, has quite a bit of experience in the FPS competitive scene. Great to see him on the duel list. I think we should keep a lookout for him. If anything, you can place your expectations onto Vexy. He's on such an aggressive role. But Noble Esports on the side of attack, Ascent being, you know, I'd like to think that it's a very defense-favorite map, but teams have proved time and time again that to really, truly be successful on Ascent is to really have a lot of rotations. We've seen attackers really just show off how they're really good at coordination by creating havoc on one side of the map and, you know, quickly rotating, catching their opponents off guard. And on the side of defense, being unpredictable, where, you know, sometimes you're aggressive, sometimes you're defensive, it really keeps, you know, the attackers guessing. And I think that's, you know, ultimately the way that you should play. Always change it up, always stay on your toes, and, you know, confidence is key as well.
Ascent, it was the first new map that we got when Valorant was released. And
Yeah.
since then, it's really been known as a defender-sided map because of the fact that it's just a lot easier to defend. But as you said, right, in these pro tournaments, in competitive teams, they just find it a bit easier to attack because of their coordination. And even though it is easier to defend, the attacking side offers a lot more potential, a lot more chance to really just take the fight to your opponent. Tryouts now on the defense, though, doing just that. Noble trying to push in through mid, but it'll be Wimp getting that first blood. Tryouts already a man up, and this is looking good for their defense.
Indeed, and now it's Hika here in the middle part, and Ghost is gonna take off Hika's head. Now Tryouts, 5-man strong. They seem to be stopping Noble Esports in their tracks, and Harsh goes down to Vexy, and that leaves Blackhawk and Rexy. Last 2-man standing on Noble Esports, 2v4 situation. Blackhawk is getting the spike planted, and Rexy might just win this gun battle. He gets 2 kills in 1 shot. Rexy now fighting with Phaeton, he picks it up. That's a 3K. Rexy's playing out of his mind, and Shark, last man standing. It's just him alone. A huge blunder that Tryouts made. All of them falling to just Rexy there. He gets that information. Shark, he's gonna go for the duel, and he's gonna pick up that kill. That is a headshot down to this 1v1. It is Shark and Blackhawk. Battle between both the animals here. Who's gonna come out alive? Blackhawk, he's gonna get some info. Shark just playing with his feelings, and this spraying Shark is gonna clutch that out, but does he have the time to go for this defuse? And it seems like he does. Brilliantly played, but the spike with 0.12 seconds. That was just nuts. Explosive beginning to this quarterfinals indeed, CA.
I mean, this just speaks volumes about the teams that we have set up. Believe it or not, this is only our first upper bracket quarterfinals, and already in the first round, it's so close. So, like, I just can't wait for the entire day, the entire series, this map itself to unfold. Because the way these teams have come about into the game, both of them have that fieriness in them, where they want to be the best and they want to dominate the other team while doing so. For now, though, it's Tryouts with Shark Aim leading the front, who are gonna come out on top in that pistol round, and Tryouts taking the lead. Tryouts, they will be able to get the buys through for the next round. Noble forced onto the eco now. The one thing to talk about is the fact that both of these teams, they're running the exact same composition, right? So it no longer becomes about like whether the attacking side is favored or defense side is favored in a particular map. It just becomes about which team is able to outperform the other in a particular side. And for Tryouts, the best way to start is the defense, because you sort of get to approach the game on your own terms rather than let Noble dictate the pace of how you want to do it. Tryouts now, winning that first round means that they get that little bit of confidence as compared to Noble, who are very much Like Noble very much considered the big dogs here. Noble considered as a team who wants to make that quest to get crown themselves a champion. TRYOUTS, they're that dark horse. They're that team you can't really expect to like just run away. They're that team who are going to surprise you and take you down with that surprise.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. And you know, Noble Esports, you know, in that last round, Sammy did take a very aggressive stance. He didn't exactly quite have the vision. So, you know, he was caught off guard, Wimp took his head off, and followed by Hika falling. And when you lose both your duelists, it's kind of hard to, you know, try to come back from that, especially when you're on the attacking side. But Rexy, he pulled off that massive 3K, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And Shock, he was the man of that last round, which is coming in hot 1v2 scenario. And being able to defuse that spike with 0.12 seconds, that's just nuts. So, you know, I'm definitely going to keep my eye on him for sure. But it looks like, you know, there is a few issues there with Sami. Hopefully he does get back, and Shock just, you know, spending some time with his buddy there. But, you know, it's really exciting because, you know, the quarterfinals, this is when games are much more close. You see more even scoreboards, you see more back and forth, very seesaw type of scenarios, and that's ultimately where, you know, I feel a lot of um, nail-biting scenarios kind of come in, and you know, fans, they just kind of lose their minds. They're just like, oh no, is it going to be my team that's going to win, or is it going to be the other? Remember, if you are supporting your teams, do show them some love in chat. Remember to like and subscribe, click that bell icon so you get notifications whenever we are live. And it looks like we can head right back into the action.
Shadows traveling.
Into the next round, it's gonna be the eco round for Noble, so I expect an eco rush coming out, and with all 5 of them stacked towards A, that's exactly what's gonna happen. But Shock Aim, the person who was able to finish off the first round for the tryouts, is sitting in A. Will find the first kill, but Hika and Hush instantly find 2 back. Wimp with the Bulldog though will find 2 more to make it 3v2 for tryouts. But already the round going pretty decently for Noble. They've got 2 guns down.
Harsh finding that kill onto goals, that just evens the playing field for both these teams. And it seems like a little bit of a force buy here, and it's got to work out for Noble Esports, but it might just fall behind. 1-for-1 trade. Harsh has a triple kill, but it's down to Rexy and Vexy. But Vexy this time, he's going to come out on top, and TRYOUTS, considering that, you know, they won the first round, and they did lose a lot of members, but, you know, Vexy there being able to clutch that one out. Man, Noble Esports, they're gonna try and come back from this one. Full buy round is going to be the next, and that is where, you know, you can kind of gauge the skill matchup between both the teams. Now, I do feel that Noble Esports not having one of their key players who is Sai might just hurt them a little bit, but that is not disregarding the skill from Blackhawk, but definitely a lot of eyes are going to be on him to kind of fill that spot. And Hika and Sammy, 2 players, one from Sri Lanka and another from Bangladesh respectively, they have represented their region very well. So, you know, they have a lot of fan following as well, looking at them. But back into the action, this is going to be Phaeton here with the Bulldog. And TRYOUTS, they're going to try and hold on to the lead that they have. And Phaeton picking up a headshot onto Blackhawk, proving that he's the more superior Omen perhaps. But this is looking much better for the side of TRYOUTS.
Yeah, like TRYOUTS coming to this round with a disadvantage in terms of economy. You saw Phaeton, he has to go for the Bulldog because of the fact that 4 members went down in the second round. And while they're able to get the opening kill, Hush on that Cypher able to find the return. Now, the spike is on Sami, of all people, and he's just waiting down here near the catwalk, waiting for his team to be able to fully push into sight. But they have taken control of side. Sami just not able to find his way through the garden. Will find the headshot instead though. And with the help of the cages
left.
coming through from Harsh, will be able to dash into sight and get the spike planted. Now Ghost with the operator was one of the most instrumental things for the comeback with TRYOUTS yesterday. So I'm hoping he's gonna be instrumental to this retake, or at least he's gonna go back and go for the save, because that operator save is very paramount to making sure that economy is stable throughout the rounds. You can see now they're all going to step back. They are going to go for that save, and that makes sense given that they're going to save a Vandal, a Phantom, and an Operator. They really need that because having lost 4 members in round 2 and losing this round, it really does hurt the economy.
Indeed, a great bounce back from Noble Esports, and something that, we thought that might just happen here. But tryouts, they are definitely holding their own. A good choice for the save. We do see Hika looking for his opponents, but, I think tryouts should be all right here. And both these teams, you can see that tryouts, despite not watching many matches of them, and it's kind of like their debut, they are doing exceptionally well. Especially, when we see new teams on the block. Noble Esports was exactly in tryouts position about 2 series ago. In series 2, actually. And, now to see that Noble Esports are up against a team that's so similar to them, a team that's just banding together, trying to make things work. It's pretty cool to see how Noble has to devise a plan to kind of beat them. But, tryouts that day, I don't know if it does them any justice, because I think they're much better than just tryouts, the FCA.
Yeah, I think they have the experience on their side, but what tryouts have for themselves is that surprise X factor, where if you're able to surprise a top team like Noble, you can really end up getting them flustered, and then if you're able to take advantage of that, you come out on top. But that experience for Noble Apple, that's exactly what comes out on top. Rexy knowing exactly where Rexy is, able to fire the double shock darts, take him down. Rexy coming up huge for Noble, finding that first blood. And Noble now, with the help of the Hunter's Fury, they're gonna go for that B-side to execute.
Now Sammy, he's gonna find that headshot onto Phaeton. Noble Esports, they're feeling the groove right now as they take down 2 members of tryouts. And they're going for the straight up rotate, which is the best solution right now. Rexy picking up that kill so quick, connecting that headshot onto Shark. That was nuts. Noble Esports, they're going to get that plant onto the A site, but they're going to take a little bit of a detour through the garden and into the back. And the last
left.
2 members of tryouts, they're going to just take a chill pill here on the B side. Huge investment on that operator for Ghost.
Spike planted.
And he's waiting very patiently. He's going to spot one, connects the shot onto Sammy. Ghost going to try on the second. He does have Wimp, but he falls to Hika, and it's all down to Ghost 1v4 situation. And knowing Noble Esports, they're not going to let him live. Ghost, he's going to go for another peek. He's got to be careful. They're going to swarm him, and he's going to take a shot, but Harsh takes him out with a headshot. 2 rounds even on the scoreboard. Noble Esports, they're making their way back up.
And this is exactly how Noble should play against them. Like the idea of going really quick site executes, even though they did go for the rotate, the pace at which they go for the rotate into A speaks like volumes about their synergy within the team. And it's also really important against a team like TRYOUTS, whose biggest advantage against Prime Esports yesterday was their calm, coordinated play over an extended period of time. If you're able to continuously force plays against them, you sort of break down the communication and like inherently let your mechanical aim thrive, and that's where players like Sami and Hika are at their very best. But so far, it's actually Rexy of all people coming out on top, and that's really nice to see, because as I was saying earlier, in the absence of Sai, you really want to see one of the more experienced players in Noble in Rexy step up, and he certainly is stepping up.
Indeed, and Wimp gonna find the first pickoff onto Rexy with that frenzy there. Eco round for tryouts, and it seems to be working in their favor. Phaeton connecting a Sheriff shot onto Hika, and tryouts, they gotta play this carefully just to, maintain this small advantage that they have over Noble Esports. But keep in mind, Noble might just have the more superior guns. You see Blackhawk find the kill of his own Sammy, moving onto site, very close to Shark, moving left and right. Finds the kill, but before Shark goes down, he does take out Blackhawk. 3v2 scenario. Harsh has the spike on him. He's gonna go for the plant, and tryouts, they are ready for the rotate. Neural them, gonna assist them very much so. The side of attack. Now Sami, he's on Raptor's duty, and spots that Wimp just threw out a dart. Sammy should pick up this kill. All it takes is 1 bullet, and Harsh is just gonna chime in, find that kill. And now tryouts down to 2 members with pistols. Sammy's gonna find Ghost, but the defuse, the sneaky defuse, Harsh just pops in right on time, takes out the last man, and Noble Esports will find themselves with 3 rounds.
That was so close. Rexy almost managed to get the defuse through. But Noble,
sneaky.
oh my god, that was so close. Noble barely just able to take him down. I think we're gonna get to see it right here. Yep, right here. Noble realizing, oh wait, there's a smoke over the diffuser. He's going for the diffuse, and with just about like 1 or 2% of that spike left, they're able to take him down and get themselves the lead. Now, that was the eco round for TRYOUTS, and you saw how well they did. So I'm hoping they'll be able to carry over that form into this next round, in their bye round, and then try to make it even. TRYOUTS, they need to do that because on Noble, you have players like Hika and Sami. If you start to give them the lead, these players will just completely pop off and take over the entire match. So TRYOUTS, they need to stay even with Noble and need to make sure that the pressure is as much on Noble as it is on them.
Now Sammy here with the A-shot push, typical of the duelist here. And, you know, we have yet to see Sammy pop off like his usual self. He's maybe just getting warmed up here. Now Sammy just inching his way in. Baytan is just right across the dark cover. Assistance from Blackhawk is going to prove useful. And it's one of the key tactics on trying to go for the A site. Now Shark not able to defend that much as Hika does find the kill. And Sammy is looking for the head. Baytan does fall to Hika, and now it's down to a 3v4.
Spike
Noble
planted.
Esports definitely showing their dominance. All they needed was the full buys, and they're right in their element. May not be as sharp as TRYOUTS on the pistol rounds, but hey, it happens. Wimp making a move onto B side, but TRYOUTS, they're gonna go for another save. They're not gonna go for the challenge, and honestly, I think that at this point, it's not really a good idea. I think that they should have fought it out 3v4 against Noble Esports because I think they had a fighting chance. But I think, that huge investment on Ghost, we can see that he has 0 credits there to work with. So TRYOUTS making this decision. They're definitely going to go for it. Hopefully they can pick up some kills as Noble Esports in typical fashion. They're going to look for those frags, and Ghost not going to connect the shot. Dashes away to safety. And that is going to be Noble Esports with a 2-round lead.
Yeah, Noble Esports, they're just able to go for the fast execute onto site and just surprise TRYOUTS, not really give them the time to go for the retake. And I definitely agree. At that stage, you really cannot be just sort of saving rounds because no longer do you get the economy you get by saving rounds. All 3 of those members, they got 1,000 reduced credits. So that's 3,000 reduced credits as
Guys,
compared
come
to
on.
if they had died. And that means that even though they saved, their team is not going to be able to afford full loadouts. You can see most of them, a couple of them, they have to go for those light shields. And this round thus becomes even more important. Now, the one biggest issue I had with the way TRYOUTS were approaching the rounds was that there was really no creativity, there was no flexibility with which the operator was moving or with which the sentinel was moving. But this time the operator moves on to A, but you can see Noble, they're ready for that. They're ready for that operator to be moved on to a different site, and they're looking towards B and mid, trying to get B mid control,
Here.
which is completely open before they commit to a particular site. Sami lurking by himself, will get spotted out by that recon drone and will have to back himself up. But now Noble, using that pressure Sami has created, they're gonna rotate towards A.
Indeed. And TRYOUTS, we do see the 3-man rotate onto the B site, but Shark here just gonna hang around Winery, waiting for his opponents. Has his spy cam in a good spot on the A site so he can get that kind of information to just kind of translate it over to his teammates. And Feitan's gonna find a double kill onto Hika and Sammy.
30
That's just
seconds left.
massive. He might just help pull this one back. Shark gonna chime in, takes out Rexy as well. Noble Esports, Blackhawk, he's trying to make the best of the situation as he finds the return kill. Harsh, he sprays for his life. Feitan goes down. TRYOUTS, they still have the man advantage, and they could try to make this work. 13 seconds left on the clock. Blackhawk, he's got to get
10
this spike
seconds
planted.
left.
He does have Harsh by his side. Surprisingly, the Cypher doing so well on attack, but Wimp is there to just kind of kill his joy. Blackhawk with a triple kill, but Vexy does it once again with the clutch. This is the second time around he has clutched the round for TRYOUTS, and it is going to be so useful as they get their 3rd round on the board. Man, break that down for a CA.
The way that round is approached by both teams is absolutely phenomenal. Blackhawk especially uses the From the Shadows, the Omen ultimate, to sort of get himself to A site and then find the kill, because without that kill onto Shark aim, the spike would still be at A long. There would be no chance of Noble Esports trying to pull it back. But TRYOUTS, the way Feitan and Shark came, able to hold on to A site, meant that it's them who were able to get the man advantage later into the round. Rexy doing really well to close it out. but really good effort by Blackhawk to try and pull something back for his own team. But it's tryouts in that buy round, tryouts coming out on top. And as we said earlier, that round was extremely important to their economy because without that round, they would all end up being forced to go to an eco, and being on the defensive side, you really don't want to let a team like Noble take a big lead. Now tryouts 3 to 4, they have a chance to further stabilize their economy, and Ghost with the operator will find 2 kills. Tryouts looking really strong now.
Ooh, Ghost missing that last kill just by a hair, and Harsh is quick to take his head off, but last man standing here. That is Harsh. Just trapped in A long. I'll think of that information. But you know, Harsh, he could try to look for the safe. Eventually, he will be hunted. But I do hope that he takes the challenge. Now, he's just gonna, you know, shift his way across into the middle area. Might just come into contact with Vexy. Could be, you know, the bane of his existence once again. Now Harsh spots out Phaeton, and he's just gonna push ahead. Now he's gotta be careful because there's multiple members right around the corner, and Vexy, he's in mid just lurking. Vexy does it once again and takes out Harsh. That is gonna be even on the scoreboard for both sides. And we can definitely see the fighting spirit from tryouts. So Noble Esports, they have to play to their best ability for sure, because you know tryouts are not going to give them an easy time at all.
Yeah, the fact that Tryouts able to pull back that round, it really starts to show exactly why they were prioritizing that operator save so much in the earlier rounds. Ghost coming up huge in that round, finding 2, barely misses the 3rd, but that's okay because his team able to save his operator, and Ghost being really impactful with the operator is really what brought Tryouts to this 4 position. Now Ghost switching up the position, spots out a couple players in the A-shot position and enables the grenade to come out, but it's Sami finding the headshot to make it a 1, but Wimp instantly finding the return kill onto Blackhawk towards mid, makes it a 1-for-1 and 4v4 on both sides. Hika will get that pain grenade out, will find the kill onto Wimp in return, and it's now Noble Esports with the man advantage. Noble Esports also with B-side control will look to take control of that site and get themselves in, but Vexy, they don't know Vexy's here. Vexy could just end up mowing them down.
Hika finding that double kill is going to prove to be very useful. That's going to be a triple for Hika. And Noble Esports, they got their groove back. Huge momentum shift as Hika ends it off with a 4K. That is the Hika that we know. And that was just mad because, you know, when you have a single player just taking out heads, multiple kills, that's a huge load off of his whole team. And, you know, Noble Esports, they can't exactly rely on their duelists popping off because everyone has to be playing, they have to play this game, at an equal standard. You know, you gotta carry your own weight. And Harsh is another member that has been proving himself very valuable on the side of attack. And, you know, it always boggles my mind because, you know, as a Cypher, you gotta rely on your raw aim to make it work when you're playing on that side. But tryouts, they've got a little bit of coming back to do, but we can immediately see, you know, that kind of seesaw effect between tryouts and Noble Esports, and I live for it because both these teams, they're going head to head. They are not going to give up without a fight. Hunter's Fury comes up, and Sammy's going to pick up Wimp. Gold's going to connect that headshot onto Blackhawk, and Hika, he will find Phaeton. All these kills happening one at a time. Rexy finding Shark. Ghost. That was a brilliant takeoff onto Rexy with that dash just to keep him safe. Gonna go for that rotate as well, but Noble Esports, they still got that man advantage over tryouts.
Harsh playing the lurker role beautifully. He's always able to create some pressure in the angle that he's at. And now with the neural theft gives away a bunch of information. But Ghost on that operator, Ghost with the triple will make it even Stevens on the board. Now pulls out the Blade Storm, looking to go for the retake with the help of his fellow duelist in Vexy. The showstopper will come out Vexy as well, but will just end up hitting the tin box. That's okay though, pulls out the prime angle immediately, gets the headshot. The Blade Storm misses entirely for Ghost though, and it's Harsh holding it down from under the rafters. Harsh the lurker, the reason Noble even got into A side to begin with, will clutch out that round for Noble, make it 6-4.
Man, Ghost found such a brilliant triple kill, but Harsh, How does he do it? He must be on fire today because, you know, he was just taking a chill under rafters. Picks up that kill onto Sami, who did not expect that and wins that battle against Vexy. But Harsh stepping up for his team. And that actually puts Noble in a much better spot. Having a 2-round lead, you can maintain that gap. We do have a few more rounds, actually just a couple, until we reach the side swap. And if TRYOUTS does better in defense, they have to try to win these next 2 rounds. And that's going to be Blackhawk spotting out one, but Wimp comes out on top. Sammy falls as well. Must not be his day. TRYOUTS, 5-man strong. Here comes Ready with the showstopper. He's gonna blast away. And Wimp gets a return kill. Was that worth? I don't quite think so, because it's still down to a 4v2. Now, Harsh here. He's made his way onto the A side. He's gotta be careful, and Shock is gonna catch him off guard with the stinger. It's all down to Rexy, last man standing. Tough ask. 1v4. With the Vandal, I assume, in hand. Now, he's just gonna take some peeks, changing the angles up. And TRYOUTS with an immense amount of patience. Rexy finds one onto Phaeton, but he's still got 3 more to go. He's just gonna dash out that dart with 5 HP only
30
to
seconds
spare.
left.
Rexy, will he make this? He's
Out of
still
charges.
playing around. 25 seconds.
Revealing area.
He's got a spike, I mean. He's
There
gonna do
they
what
are.
it takes. Rexy. Oh man, CA, this is just nail biting because TRYOUTS has such an immense amount of discipline. They're not even going to show themselves. They're just going to play
10
with time.
seconds left.
And rightfully, that is the smart move because TRYOUTS, they've done it with the timer, and that is a round secured for the defenders.
Yeah,
Nice
this
job.
was the standout quality for TRYOUTS in their win against Prime Esports yesterday. They were a team that was just constantly disciplined
Last round
in their
in the
ability
half.
to not sort of give away any sort of unnecessary advantage to the opposing team. I have to say also that TRYOUTS, they're a team that really favored attack when we last saw them. They like the idea of causing a lot of noise towards one particular area, just increasing the pressure faced by the other team in that area, and then going for the really slow rotations, playing with the minds of the other teams. So going into this last round, if TRYOUTS is able to make the score even, I do think like going into the next half, we cannot predict exactly what will happen. But now Noble trying something creative will push towards A side in a fast execute. TRYOUTS, they went for that early push with Ghost, but end up just being taken down by Hush. Now Phaeton finds the return kill onto Sami. His Sami just ends up dashing into a wall. Now the Omen ultimate did come out for the side of TRYOUTS. Will give away a bunch for the side of Noble and gave away a bunch of information about TRYOUTS positioning. And Noble now going for the rotate, but Vexy waiting. Vexy will find one. Vexy will find two. Make it 3v2 for TRYOUTS. Blackout able to find the return. But now Noble's stuck between 2 places. They can't go to either A or B because their position is exactly known by TRYOUTS.
Vexy's like a silent assassin. In these rounds, he's able to just pick up these multi-kills and clutching rounds out. Oh, man. Now it's going to be Rexy here with his trusty buddy, Blackhawk. And he's going to make his way over to the A side. Now, 2v3. If the communication is right, they should know that the Cypher is pretty low on health.
30 seconds left.
And 30 seconds left on the clock. Rexy makes his way onto site. We do see the abilities coming out, trying to get that information. That's TRYOUTS going to go for the rotate,
Revealing area.
and the retake here. Rexy planting that spike with 12
planted.
seconds left to spare. It's all down to the post plan. Now the timer is not in favor of the defenders. It's going to be against them. Now Rexy and Blackhawk both under rafters. That's gonna be one. Rexy takes out Whip, but Phaeton gets a return kill, and Shark is gonna find Blackhawk. TRYOUTS, they managed to end off the first half with an even score. TRYOUTS and Noble Esports, 6-6. They are not gonna let each
Switching
other
sides.
go.
6-6 and completely even on the scoreboard means that these teams are really well matched with each other. Noble very much team that likes that sort of flashy playstyle, likes to make their mark on the opponents and sort of remind them of their caliber and mechanical potential. TRYOUTS very much a very different team. They're the sort of team who likes discipline. They like to make standard plays and use those standard plays to be able to get the small advantage for themselves that they can build upon and then get their big advantage. We were very skeptical about the operator saves in the early rounds, but TRYOUTS and Ghost, they really proved themselves with the operator becoming really impactful. And now going on to the other side, we'll have to see if Noble can create a similar sort of impact. Because attack, I really do think attack is where TRYOUTS feel at their most comfort.
Indeed, and we'll see, you know, if that is a good display, if we'll see good displays of skill here for TRYOUTS and what exactly their plan is. How are they going to approach it? Is it going to be different compared to Noble on the side of attack? And here in defense, how is Noble going to spread themselves out? Now, Rexy on mid duty. We do see Sammy and Hika on the B site. Harsh and Blackhawk on the A side, very close. They're up in garden. And Ghost going to be firing away. Connect the headshot onto Blackhawk. And now he's made his way onto the site. Ghost and Shark, they're gonna find some kills there. Now Noble Esports caught in a pickle. Rexy firing away, but Rexy's nade is gonna connect and kill Sammy here and shot down to 22 HP. Noble Esports, they haven't got a chance here in the pistol round. Doozy Ghost just dashing away. Hiccup with the frenzy. Will he save the day this time? Phaeton takes off Sammy's head and it's down to Hiccup. Last man standing and Phaeton. Flawless round for TRYOUTS here in the second half. What is this confidence that we see from them on the side of attack? Looks like, you know, your thoughts on TRYOUTS being more comfortable on the side of attack? It's definitely coming through because that was very confident.
Yeah, they're a team that is sort of on the same page with regards to every single time they make a play. You can see even when they went for the A side execute, even though it's split up in their approach, with a couple members going down catwalk and a couple members going down A short, the time at which all members enter the site is the exact same, and that speaks monuments about their communication within the team. Once again, it's going to be Phaeton finding the first blood. Noble, they're on their eco, and they need to try to get as much damage done as they did in their eco in the first half. But so far, TRYOUTS, they've sort of just come into attacking side with the same idea of confidence that I expected them to. Now 5v3 goes for the triple. They're looking for another flawless, but Hika will put a wrench in their plans.
Oh man, TRYOUTS, they are definitely getting it on. The spike is ticking, last man standing is Hika, and Vexy comes in once again. Man, Ghost and Vexy definitely doing so well for their team. Now, if we're looking at the scoreboard here, you can see that, you know, it's very even across for TRYOUTS. So everyone is kind of pulling equal weight. We still have yet to kind of see Sabi and Blackhawk find their position. Blackhawk definitely struggling a little bit there. And Noble Esports, they got to get a feel of how TRYOUTS kind of plan their strategy. But so far, you know, TRYOUTS, they are consistent. They are definitely making a name for themselves. And we'd love to see it. You know, new teams on the block giving these juggernauts such a hard time. Now, Shark here. TRYOUTS, they're going to go for the A-side plant, very likely. Or they could just create that kind of ruckus. And then pull it back and go for the rotate. Now, aggressive push from Noble Esports on the side of B main. Not gonna find anyone, but that is valuable information. And here is the push from TRYOUTS. They are getting onto site. Harsh just lurking. Metal door is gonna go down. Phaeton there to back his trusty raise up. Rexy on the rafters, just spraying away. Vexy's gonna get that spike planted. Still a 5v5 situation. Two members of TRYOUTS not exactly very healthy. Rexy does not have the Hunter's Fury, but he does have his aim, and he's proven himself time and time again. But Ghost is gonna take him out. And that leaves Noble Esports with the man disadvantage. Blackhawk with the paranoia in hand. He might just dash that out. He's got to plan this out with his teammate Sammy with the dash in. Harsh gonna take down Vexy. Sammy falls to Shark. Phaeton fights Hika, Harsh, and Blackhawk. They're gonna fight two. TRYOUTS last man standing. The spike is, they're trying to defuse it. Wimp! He takes out Harsh, but Blackhawk, he's gonna get a return kill. Spike is ticking, but I think that's going to be a defuse, and 2 seconds left to spare. Noble Esports, that was so chaotic, but they managed to get that round.
really well played by Noble on the retake. They're willing to sort of just give up the site without like losing too much ground. The way Harsh and Hika able to hold on to their own angles and only give up a part of the site meant that they have the man advantage and they have the angle advantage when going for the diffuse. The Sova on the side of TRYOUTS win. He has to peek into two players, and Blackhawk doing especially well to make sure that he's covering Rexy entirely, and even though Rexy ends up going down, Harsh ends up going down, Blackhawk able to find that kill and secure the defuse. That round was especially important because it was the buy round for Noble Esports. But having said that, Noble, they spent all of their money in that round, and TRYOUTS, they did not spend most of it. So going into this round, it's actually going to be TRYOUTS with the economic advantage. You can already see Rexy forced to carry the Spectre because they lost 4 members in that round, and that hurt their economy.
Rexy with the drone, just trying to get some information. He should spot the other drone. So, you know, not too much there. Rexy just gonna pull it back, playing from a very defensive angle. It's to be expected, considering, you know, he has the Spectre in hand. Not exactly the best long-range weapon, but really good for spray downs. And TRYOUTS go closer to the A site. We do see the Cypher lurking. Now both teams very slow approach, 35 seconds left on the clock. And usually, you know, when it comes to this level of competitive play,
30 seconds
very
left.
quick attacks are usually thrown out at the last second, but it's risky, but if it does work, it pays a very huge reward. And now TRYOUTS, they have successfully made themselves onto the A site. The spike has been planted. And Noble Esports, they are rotating for the retake. 1-for-1 trade between Ghost and Rexy. Rexy finds a double. He's stepping up to the plate. That's going to be a triple for Rexy as he looks for his next victim. 4v2 situation. TRYOUTS. They've got 2 members left. Rexy under the rafters. He's going to be fall.
Right here.
And Sammy redeeming himself. Wimp last man standing. With that Hudson's Fury. And Rexy's going to chase him down. 4K. For Rexy, Noble Esports, they bring it even on the scoreboard.
Was that important?
Huge plays by Rexy, really stepping up when the team needed it in terms of that economic standpoint. Getting a double kill with that Spectre, and then getting the third with his Vandu meant that all of his teammates, including like players like Sami, able to upgrade their guns and finish off that round easily. Rexy coming up huge this round in the retake for Noble Esports, meaning that going into next round, TRYOUTS, they're going to be forced into a difficult position where they might have to go for a couple of light shields and not go for the full loadouts or go for the eco. Expect the light shields. Yeah, 1 light shield to come through. Ghost's gonna likely end up carrying his ultimate. The Blade Storm is up as a weapon. So we'll have to see if TRYOUTS can take the lead once again, or if it'll be Noble Esports continuing their tempo forward. Because one, like, characteristic of Noble Esports that we've always known is that they take a couple of rounds to really understand their opponent, but once they sort of understand them in either side, they really start to dominate. And now, at 8-8, this is going to be the crossroads at either with either team, where they might just take over the entire game, or just end up faltering, making a mistake, and allowing the other team to step over them. For now, it's Noble on defense, just playing extremely defensively. You can see Rexy, he's all the way in the back, knowing that he might have to rotate to any point. But TRYOUTS taking full advantage of that, taking mid control, now looking towards B perhaps. Now, you can see a slow push coming in from TRYOUTS. They're going towards B, but the door is closed, and Rexy has to take it down and reveal himself, his positioning. But Rexy holding on, will get that kill, but Sami holding down strong from the off angle, finds a double and almost catches out. Fatan, though, able to clean him up, make it 3v2 for TRYOUTS. Now Fatan will find another onto Hika, but Blackhawk immediately finding the return kill, meaning it's 2v2. TRYOUTS, they've got the spike planted, and Ghost will get a kill onto Blackhawk. 2v1 scenario now. It's going to be Ghost and the Omen. Fatan looking to pull it back, but Harsh using that camera to distract his opponent will get the first kill. Now knows exactly where Fatan is. Goes for this box spam, but not able to find him. Instead, Fatan winning through that peak means that it's TRYOUTS with the lead once again. TRYOUTS 9-8, and TRYOUTS looking so damn good on attack. So for me, like the way, like the biggest difference between Tryouts and Noble in this matchup, it just ends up being like Tryouts a bit more disciplined. I feel like Noble, they have this potential in terms of the mechanical gameplay, but their coordination not on point, and their communication just coming through a second later, meaning that Tryouts able to take advantage. Noble doing really well to just sort of use the off angles to continuously find picks, but they're not able to capitalize on that with their teammates, and that's really what ends up affecting them. For example, here, Fetan finding that duel onto Hush, meaning it's Tryouts with that win, and now Noble once again forced into a situation with the bad economy. Tryouts, they're just gonna run back their strategy from the last round, go for that mid control, once again find first blood. Fetan will take down Hiccup, but Vexy with another, meaning it's Tryouts 5v3, and now Tryouts using that mid control to funnel into side B. But Rexy and Hosh coming back on the retake will find 2 each, and the neural theft will come out for the side of Noble Esports. It's going to be Harsh and Blackhawk, using that information to perfection to find a kill onto Vexy. Now 2v2 scenario. Both members of Tryouts hiding in the boathouse, trying to play for time as much as possible. And for the side of Noble, it's all about waiting for the cooldowns. As soon as that dark cover comes up, they're going to be using that in combination with the paranoia, as you saw, to move in. And now with one angle squared off, both Harsh and Blackhawk moving in. One player going for the defuse. Harsh will find the kill. Blackhawk will find the second. And Noble with the very well executed retake, make it 9-9 on the scoreline. Beautifully played by Noble, and this is why you have to... You simply cannot run back the same strategy against a team like Noble, because they will be able to understand what went wrong in the previous round. They'll be able to refine that strategy and come back into the next round stronger for it, just able to sort of exploit those few tendencies of Tryouts in their idea of, hey, they like to just step back, they like to play for that defensive approach and not go for the peaks. Noble able to exploit that using Blackhawk's utility, using that dark cover and paranoia to perfection to make sure that they make this scoreline even. Now, as you can see on the scoreboard, it's going to be Tryouts forced into an eco situation and a chance for Noble to pull it back. Rexy, though, since he went down, has to also go for a semi-eco, but the rest of his team, they have the full loadouts. Now, Noble, they're playing this very differently as compared to the previous rounds, very laid-back approaches, and it's going to pay off because Tryouts push in aggressively. You do get caught out by Blackhawk. Blackhawk almost finding the second, but missing a couple shots, meaning that Wimp with the headshot, able to make it a trade. 4v4 situation on the map, but it'll be Ghost finding that one tap onto Harsh to make it 4v3 for Tryouts. And even in the eco round, it's Tryouts coming out on top. Tryouts with a man advantage. Now Rexy will find the return kill. Rexy almost finds the back of the Cypher shark aim, but not able to take him down. Now it's going to be up to Rexy and Haker to go for that retake onto A. But the way Vexy is holding down mid, Vexy's flank could be instrumental if he goes for it.
Now Rexy here, it's down to this 2v3 Noble Esports. The spike is ticking, and this retake Hiccup flying through, but Shark is gonna take him out. Looks like the showstopper's not gonna work, but Rexy finds Ghost. 1v2 scenario, Rexy might just take him off guard, but Shark connects his multiple shots on that Sheriff, and that is gonna be double digits for Tryouts as they try to maintain this lead. Now, that is just absolutely insane. Tryouts giving Noble Esports a run for their money. And, you know, it was surprising that Hiccups Showstopper didn't connect. But we do see here that Rexy, you know, try to make the best out of this situation. But Shark, very diligently, always on the A side. Similar position, even when he was on the side of defense. His post-plant position, he very much liked that corner spot. And, you know, Noble Esports, I think, you know, they kind of realize, you know, that there are a few patterns here from Tryouts. But I think what is making Tryouts really stand out is the fact that they are very well coordinated. They are playing as though they've had all this kind of experience, you know, pulling off strategy in the Valorant space when it is their debut. That's why they're catching us all off guard. But, you know, years of FPS competitive experience, all you gotta do is just a little bit of tweaking, And these guys, they've come together and they've figured out
Spike
what
planted.
works for them. Now the spike has been planted. TRYOUTS with a successful invade onto the A side. Now Noble Esports, they're looking for the retake and coming in from multiple directions. The ultimate is popped on the side of Phaeton, and it looks like he is not going to fully commit with it. Vexy with the showstopper. He blasts it, not going to find a kill. 1-for-1 between Vexy and Ghost. And it's down to the 4v4. Phaeton chimes in, finds Sammy. Harsh is going to take that down. Harsh with the double. Harsh might just pull this back for Noble Esports as Blackhawk is watching a long. The spike is ticking, and it's going to be very likely that Harsh and Blackhawk, they are going to watch out, but Wimp with the Hunter's Fury is going to take down Hika. Blackhawk takes out Vexy, and the spike has been defused by Harsh. It was enough time, and that is back to even Stevens. Man, oh man, both these teams. We might just go into overtime here, CA.
This is a nice spot.
A beautiful communication coming out from Noble, because honestly I thought, given the fact that TRYOUTS, they had their Hunter's Fury and the showstopper ready on their side, that round was done and dusted for them. But the Hunter's Fury coming out a second too early, meaning that Hika, even though he dies, he's able to stick the defuse halfway through, and then Hush able to finish it off with a bare minimum of time left, meaning Noble once again making it even. These teams, they are neck to neck, matched perfectly against each other, giving both of them a run for their money and giving us spectators an absolutely brilliant match to watch. Now at 10-10, it's gonna be both of these teams with their economies really starting to hurt. As you can see, they both sort of given back-to-back rounds. That's not gonna help them now. Shakim will find the opening kill onto Sami, but Hika able to back up his teammate, find the return, make it 4v4 on the map. You can see TRYOUTS now. They're going to use the pressure that Vexy has created by pushing in through mid. Vexy in the market area already, able to get control of that mid angle and give a ton of information to his team that, hey, mid is completely clear. B side likely also clear. You can rotate from A, now make your way towards B. You'll have to see if Hika able to cause some damage because he's the one peeking down from B main. Now the dark cover.
Man, both these teams. TRYOUTS here. The strategy that always works for them, pushing in
left.
when the timer is low at about 30 seconds. Now Phaeton is going to get a successful plant, and they have managed to take down 2 members of Noble Esports. Now here comes the rotate. Rexy shot down to very low HP, but there are 2 members on the side of TRYOUTS that are relatively struggling as well with their health. And Hika here with Harsh, they're going to try and make a push, but they've got to pick up the pace solely because the spike is ticking. Ghost does have the op in hand and very much ready to take down anyone who opposes him. Hika finds Wimp, and Noble Esports, they've got to be quicker. And the double satchel. Hika, he's up on the roof. He's going to fall back down. Spots out one. He's going to turn and spray. He takes down Ghost. Noble Esports, Harsh, and Hika. They might just do it. That's a 4K for Hika. And the spike, will they have the time? 1.36 seconds, not quite enough. TRYOUTS with their discipline, they kept hidden as long as they could, and they made Noble Esports have to rush through that entire ordeal. But that was very impressive from the side of Hika with that beautiful 4K. Unfortunately, just fell a little bit short, but TRYOUTS, 11 rounds. Man, this is spicy. What a great best of 3 here.
I think everyone should go get their comfortable chairs, get your pillows if you want, because we're in for a long match. This match almost certainly set to go to overtime, but right now it's TRYOUTS with the lead and TRYOUTS with the economic advantage. Noble forced to go into a semi-buy situation because they're not able to afford full buys. TRYOUTS once again taking mid control. I think this strategy from Noble of giving up mid really starting to cost them, but Noble, they make a decision that, hey, you know what, we're gonna stay true to our sights and hold on from there, allow them to take mid control and sort of just play into our hands. We'll have to see if this gamble from Noble will end up working out, because right now it's TRYOUTS with the better weapons. But Sami's waiting in the corner, will end up just pushing forward a little too soon. Ghost will take him down. Ghost will find the second. Neural Theft will come out from TRYOUTS, and that's going to be an easy B-side push. Hika, can he do something? He cannot, because Ghost finds the triple, and that's 5v2 for TRYOUTS, and the spike gets spotted.
This is insane because Ghost just picked up a 4K. He could actually look for the ace, and he's right around the corner. Blackhawk might just be a victim, and Ghost, he's gonna find Noel. He didn't. Blackhawk gets the headshot instead. You may take down my teammates, but I'm not gonna give you that ace that you want. Oh man, but tryouts. Match point. It looks like they're so close to taking this map. Number 1, Noble Esports falling short here on Ascent. And this is definitely something we did not expect. The stage was set. Tryouts. They definitely exceeded our expectations. And as for Noble Esports, we're kind of wondering, hey, what is going on here?
Where are you?
A tough day, but it's a best of 3. The first map, it can go to either side. Ultimately, you gotta be consistent and win 2 maps. But tryouts here, they are definitely showing up. Ghost with 22 kills. Phaeton with 17. Who are these guys? Ready to put themselves in the spotlight. This could be the last round for Noble Esports. Tryouts, they're falling to Blackhawk. They don't see them. Rexy, he's gonna chime in as well and tryouts out to 2 members. This is just hectic, CA.
Yeah, tryouts, they go for a fast A-side push, but Rexy and Blackhawk holding down strong from their angles, expecting the same, able to just mow them down. And Sami and Harsh with those last 2 kills make it 12 to 11 in this matchup. I think we're definitely set in for overtime, and that's amazing for both of these teams because on one hand you have Noble playing without one of their key members in Sai, and on the other hand you have tryouts who are sort of brand new to this top tier stage, brand new to this high stakes gameplay and top level just pressure coming out, and they're able to just match that pressure and come out looking better as a team. Right now, tryouts defying all the odds and making sure that their name is someone to remember. And if this is their tryouts, I can't wait to see their main action, because right now it will be though Sami taking matters into his own hands, will pull out that Blade Storm, will go for the aggressive draft and find that opening kill for Noble Esports. Now Sami using that pressure to rotate towards B. He's looking for more. Sami, he's mad that they're even down, wants to push us to overtime. But tryouts, they're gonna push in aggressively. They're gonna push into B side and they're gonna find 3 kills already. 2v4 for Noble, 1v4 for Noble. Harsh last man standing.
1v3 situation, the spike has been planted. It could be all over in this map. Number 1 for Noble Esports. It comes down to Harsh. He is the last man standing and moving on to site. He's got to watch all corners. Trials, they have an immense amount of discipline, and that recombo is going to give them the information. Whip just wall bangs Harsh, and that is a wrap. Tryouts, they're going to take the first map here in the best of 3 of the quarterfinals.
And you really have to start to wonder, how does this sort of influence the entire series? Because going into game 2, we're going into Haven. Like, what I expected from tryouts was being extremely comfortable on the attack, and that's exactly what they show us. 6-6 was the first half, but a 7-5 second half, meaning it's tryouts taking the win 13 to 11. And going into map 2, which is an attacker's favored map, you have to wonder if Noble can find the issues within their gameplay and just sort of refine them, because tryouts, they look extremely comfortable.
Indeed, you know, tryouts, they really gave Noble Esports a run for their money, and they took the money. So Noble Esports, you know, the first map, it was tough. But before we talk more about what went down, let's move into Relive the Moment, brought to you by Ideapad Gaming 3 notebook, powered by 4000 Series Ryzen Processors, perfect for gaming and multitasking. So, okay, on the topic of Noble Esports, we understand that this is not the usual Noble Esports, considering that their main roster consists of Sai, and you know, unfortunately, Sai isn't able to join his team in this current moment. So you know, they brought in the sub. I won't say this is the most optimal that we have seen Noble Esports, and tryouts definitely, they might have seen this and realized like, hey, you know, we could actually potentially beat Noble Esports. What was a little suspicious was that Sami, he wasn't really having a good day. Usually he's really flashy, he gets those frags, but you know, he did struggle a bit here against tryouts. And you know, as for this team here just taking map number 1, they are filled with players that have so much experience playing under high pressure, and that kind of translates. So, this being their debut and being able to take down a juggernaut of a team kind of shows that they've got their head in the game. They're ready to be a competitor. They have made it to the quarterfinals, and it's not gonna end for them right now. The thing is that the game was in no way close. It wasn't close at all. Both teams were head to head. It was the scoreline was 13-11. So, map number 2, it could go either way again. And honestly, I'm excited for it. What are your afterthoughts here, CA?
One of the biggest differences going into map 2 was that coming into map 1, we naturally assumed, because of the idea of experience being on the side of Noble Esports, that it's TRYOUTS who are really the underdogs and Noble Esports who have to be slightly more comfortable coming into this matchup. TRYOUTS, they've completely proved us wrong on that note, because even though the score was 13-11, they were able to pull out the win with the exact same composition as Noble, doing much better on the attacking side when they had the proactivity in their place. And going into map 2, the pressure is completely off for them because they've already proven themselves, not just to us, but also to themselves. And they have to be feeling, guys, we did it on Ascent. Now going into Haven, Haven is all about discipline within the teams, and we've already shown our discipline here. We are Gucci, we just need to win one more map.
All right. So the first map goes over to the side of TRYOUTS. So congratulations to you guys. And Noble Esports, they are going to fight till the death. And we are going to go on a small break before we come back with map number 2. So while you guys are waiting, remember, like CA mentioned earlier, grab a pillow, get comfortable, because it's going to be a long day today. Remember, there is a massive sale on LG monitors. You can check the links in the description or follow our socials. Links are in the description as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly with map number 2 between Noble Esports versus TRYOUTS.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. Let's make the most of this night. Come on, baby, take my hand. And we don't need to do the things we don't want to do. Baby, while we're
Velocity can feel it. Velocity have done it. 3-2. They take the grand finals and are your undisputed champions.
Shippy, he's got to do something about it. The spike is ticking, but Rapper with the triple kill to end it off. Your champions are Team Tamelas.
My eyes are better than yours.
And Harsh answers back onto his own phone as well.
This sounds some fun, yeah?
Up forward with the paranoia in hand, and it's gonna be Hiccup.
You can't catch us.
Corbin answers back onto Harsh being able to take down one.
I'm not just an archer, you know.
One on A long, but Noble Esports, they are.
Watch them run.
Wanting to close it out real quickly. The flash comes through from the side of Sammy being able to blind out 3.
But Sammy might just take his time, slashing away at the door, and he might just be pulled up upon. There it is, Sammy. But Blackhawk's gonna wrap that up, and that is Noble Esports making their way over to the quarterfinals. Hey guys, and welcome back to the LG Ultragear TEC Challenger Series 4. Powered by Ideapad Gaming and AMD, we have ACT as our fiber partner and AFK Gaming as our media partner. Welcome back. We are ready with map number 2, and we saw earlier TRYOUTS took map number 1 over Noble Esports. So let's head over into the veto screen, and we can see that map 2 will be Haven. And this is going to be really exciting because TRYOUTS, considering that they already have one under their belt, they could look to close this best of 3 here in the quarterfinals completely out for Noble Esports. But hey, Noble, they still got a chance to try and come back. We're going to move into the agent screen. What have you noticed here? Anything interesting, CA?
Yeah, I was expecting a Phoenix to come out, and the big question mark really was who is going to play the Phoenix for Noble Esports, because like you normally expect Sai to be picking up the Phoenix, but both of the teams are like, no. We understand the need for a duelist with a flash, but we're not going towards that Phoenix. It's going to be Sami and Vexy picking up that Reyna, and that's really interesting because what this also does is push Harsh onto the Jet now. Earlier, we were talking about how good Harsh has been on that Cypher because of his aiming potential, right, Apo? Now on the Jet, he really gets his moment to shine.
Indeed, you know, Harsh has always come across as a type of player where, you know, his raw aim just does the job. Like, he was at the top of the board for his team as a Cypher on the side of attack. But, you know, having a few moments of brilliance is not going to be enough because ultimately you need to achieve great consistency and teamwork with the entirety of your team. With a bang, similar, same composition, I mean, it's exactly the same. Both these teams, there is a huge window of opportunity, and what more, it is Haven. 3 sites, that means, you know, you can kind of take the game in any way that you want. Usually, I feel that, you know, it's more attack favored, and that is kind of rare amongst, you know, all the different maps that we have in the pool here in Valorant. And solely because, you know, on Haven, considering it's so big, there's 3 sites, on the side of attack, you can set the pace. And if you're able to do that successfully, you just take the defenders completely off guard. But on the side of defense, if you have good anticipation, great communication, and an impeccable use of abilities to kind of scout out your opponents, you're going to do just as well. So right now, we're going to move into the pistol round. Both teams, it's all about accuracy and ultimately trying to get a good start for your economy. So let's just pull up the scoreboard and have a look at what everybody is playing here, CA.
For the side of tryouts is going to be very standard roles all throughout. Only the major change is Vexy, that Raze shifting from the Reyna. But for the side of Noble, it's been a bit of a shuffle in terms of role. We're going to see Hicker moving on to the Omen, Blackhawk moving on to the Cypher. All this to allow Hush to move on to that Jet. So the spotlight really going to be on Hush to sort of show his potential on that duelist and sort of just establish his dominance onto tryouts. For tryouts, they're the team with the map advantage in coming into this map too, and they're the team starting on the attacker's side, the side we do slightly favor. So the ball definitely very much in the court of tryouts, and we'll have to see if they can reign through with their discipline or if it's going to be the mind games for Noble coming out on top. Right now, tryouts, they're lurking towards Garage and Seaside and looking to push into Garage slowly. But with the Cypher trap fires already set up by Sharkim, this might just be a disaster for Noble.
Indeed, the attackers taking it one step at a time. Tryouts, they've been really coordinated, allowed them to take map number 1. And here in map 2, let's see if they do have the same consistency. And if Haven will be the bane of their existence, or if Haven is actually their playground. Now Sammy's gonna find first blood. He finds Phaeton and Wimp. Now Ghost gonna get the return kill, very much needed. But Noble Esports, they still have the man advantage. And it seems like Vexy is dangerously low. He does get a kill, but Hicker comes in on the Omen with the double, and Blackhawk on the Cypher this time. A little bit of a mix and match for Noble Esports, something that I didn't expect too much, but that is going to be the first round secured for Noble Esports on the side of defense.
So the one thing that sort of is good for the defenders on Haven is the idea that if the team is coordinated and willing to play for retakes, the idea of playing on defense on Haven becomes much easier because it's sort of like you're playing a pseudo attack and you can rely on that coordination to pull through. And you can see Noble, they do just that in this round, willing to give up C-site, waiting for the rest of their team to go in for the retake together. But now, looking at the scorecards, I'm seeing a forced buy coming out for tryouts. This is going to be a spicy round 2 because if tryouts are not able to get the win here, they will not just give away the double round lead to Noble, but a huge economic advantage. We'll have to see if they can get something done. But right now, all of tryouts lurking towards A and mid, trying to find a pick for themselves. Both teams with the buys. The team that wins this round is going to get a huge advantage.
We do see a huge rotation, 3 members stacked on the side of A from the defenders, but it looks like Tryouts was only there to kind of make a little bit of noise. They're going to go for the B side, but it's particularly tricky because their 2 entrances actually make that 3 if they aren't careful with their post-plant positions. Now Rexy's going to take out Wimp, and there is a return kill. Harsh gonna find Phaeton. Noble Esports, they're taking down Tryout. And Blackhawk finds a double. Looks like a fire has been lit under them. And Tryout's force by might be rendered useless. Vexy, he's the last man standing, and Harsh jumps right onto the crate, picks him up. Clean 2 rounds for Noble Esports. Great start. And, you know, let's see if Tryouts has the cash to go for the buys in this next supposed buy round.
No, they have to go for the eco. I mean, if they go for another forced buy, that would be an extremely ballsy move. But like, that would also sort of like put them in a situation where their economy just becomes immensely and exponentially hard to sort of stabilize. We'll have to see, like, in that eco if they can get some damage done. Because we were talking earlier about how Haven very much an attacker-sided map. Noble already with a 2-0 lead. Every round they get in their advantage is going to be so much better for them. Now, once again, Tryouts, they spread themselves out. They're looking for picks. And this is where I feel like Tryouts really need to change something up. Because you see nobody lurking towards A site, meaning that they're allowing Sami to just go for the easy flank. Now, Sami behind all of them will spot out his opposing Reyna, but misses the couple first shots, gives away his positioning, and has to back up. But even though he missed those shots, even though he's not able to get the kill, Sami caused a lot of pressure, forcing Tryouts to pull back from their angles and now reconsider their move.
Indeed, you know, if you don't get the kill, just pull it back, as that's exactly what Sami did. He does have the information that, you know, the rest of Tryouts isn't close to the A side, so that allows Noble Esports to kind of pull themselves together towards the B and C. Harsh is going to find a double. He dashes away to safety, 12 HP. He does have the Cloud Burst, but Win puts in a shock dart, electrifying him to his death. Tryouts down to 2 members. Blackhawk finds Wimp. Last man standing is back once again, and Blackhawk wraps that up. Noble Esports bouncing back in map number 2. They have vengeance on their mind, and they're ready to make it happen. And you know, tryouts here, it seems like they are struggling to kind of set the pace to figure out what Noble is doing, looking at the right angles, getting these pickoffs. But it's just a matter of time. And you know, it's going to be great to watch the course of this entire match, because I feel like it might just swing a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything can happen because coming into map 2, the question of which team is better is just a question entirely now. Like, you really cannot go for the prediction for either team because both of these teams, Noble through their experience and tryouts through winning map 1, we know that both of these teams carry the potential to just sort of dominate the other team. It's really going to come out to which team is able to do that consistently over multiple rounds. Right now, it's Noble be able to do that, and this switch by Sami onto the Reyna, the switch for Harsh onto the Jet, and Hika on that Omen really working out so far for their team. Now the operator is picked up for the side of Noble. Harsh on the operator, we'll see if he can get something done, but right now it's TRYOUTS going towards A. Sami getting that first headshot onto Shock Aim. We'll just get that heal and back up, go towards Heaven as he looks to hold this side down. TRYOUTS, they've taken side control, but in a 4v5 situation, defending against his retake by Noble is going to be a hard task.
Sammy finding that double kill is massive for his team. He's finally stepped up on the Reyna, looking so comfortable there. Overhealed, he's doing good in Heaven. And Sammy finds the third. Harsh is going to chime in on that operator. And last man standing is the Omen. Phaeton falls to Harsh. I mean, that round was all Sammy and Harsh. I do like the fact that Harsh went from, you know, something like a Cypher onto a Jet. Very much fits him. Looks like the op is something that he's comfortable with. He's not a stranger to it. And Noble Esports 4 rounds in the lead. It seems like Haven is definitely their playground, at least on the defensive side.
Yeah, the thing is, for the side of Noble, they look extremely comfortable here, and this just sort of throws us back to OG Noble. Back in Series 2 when they were making their debut, it was Harsh on that, playing that Jet and the Reyna, mostly the Jet, when he was the operator player and constantly able to just make explosive plays. It's nice to see that in a dire situation, when they're one map down, they're going back to something that they know works very much. And now TRYOUTS, they need to answer back, and they're looking for a B push to do just that. But Harsh barely threading the needle, finds the first kill, throws on the smoke to delay any sort of push onto him, and will pull out the classic and get the kill onto Vexy. Hika with one more, meaning it's a 4v1 for Noble, and that was a quick eco round from TRYOUTS.
Wham! Gonna be taken out by Hika. Eco round, not much to worry about, but man, 5 rounds in the lead. Noble Esports. You know, when competition is so heavy, and especially considering how the last map was so close, ending it off on the scoreline of 13-11, this is just nuts, because if a map can make such a big difference, I mean, it just completely comes down to the fact that, hey, you know, TRYOUTS, they gotta do something about the way that they approach this map in particular, because they can't allow Haven to be a weak point, and then Blackhawk just take a little bit of a leap, taking away some HP, but you know, hey, it happens. But we do see Harsh there with 8 kills, and everyone with 1 side of TRYOUTS.
Oh, this is a nice
Yeah, you can see exactly what Blackhawk was trying to do there. Missed the boxes on his first try, but that's okay. Lands on them on the second, and a really interesting camera placement coming out. Very defensive camera placement. It sort of enables him to look into a link and also look in defensively from the side. And you can see he's setting up the trap fires now. It's going to be a solo hold for Blackhawk and an aggressive push with the operator for Harsh. Harsh will spot out Vexy, but Vexy will land the first headshot, will take down Harsh, and now in the buy round for TRYOUTS, TRYOUTS coming out swinging. They're going to use that first blood they got to rotate all of their pressure onto C side and look to make their push there. The dark cover has been set up for them to move, and I expect the Reyna flashes to be coming out as they look to make themselves. The call out should be coming out from Rexy regarding the positioning of TRYOUTS into C side, and now you can see the rotations coming out for Noble. 5v4 situation. Noble, they're a man down, and they have to go for that retake. They have the ultimates to be able to do that, though.
Rexy taking out Sammy. Noble Esports, they're falling this time, but Rexy's gonna get the return kill for V3. And TRYOUTS have made their way on the C side with a very successful plant. Now in post-plant positions. Dark covers laid out by the trusty Omen, which is Hika. Rexy's gonna find Phaeton. Goes, gets Hika though. And Blackhawk's gonna get that return. 1-for-1. Now it's down to a 2v2. Battle of the clones. It just depends on who has the better coordination. Removing that tracking dart. The Hunter's Fury is not quite connecting onto Noble Esports. They're going for the defuse. And Blackhawk picks up a kill. So does Wim. And that's gonna be a triple for Blackhawk. But he does not have the time for the defuse. Accepts his fate. Gets consumed by the explosion. And the first round over to TRYOUTS.
And it's once again the discipline and the sort of being calm under pressure for TRYOUTS that really gets them the win. Wimp, we recently learned that Wimp is the IGL for TRYOUTS, and Wimp with the Hunter's Fury, delaying the spike defuse for so long and calling for Shock Aim to just wait and be patient. Even though Wimp and Shock Aim both end up going down, they buy enough time for the defuse to not go through, and it's TRYOUTS picking up that win. Very well played by TRYOUTS to get themselves on the board, but the fact that all of them went down is gonna hurt their economy. You can see, even though they are able to afford full loadouts, the bank very much better for Noble. So Noble coming into this round, still able to afford the operator, and it'll be that operator on Harsh finding first blood. Now Noble gonna look to use that pressure to just rotate onto B side and try to find a couple more picks there. TRYOUTS, they're in a sticky position because they're all spread out and they don't really have side control in any position.
Now Ghost here, he has all abilities up. He can definitely try to create something pretty fancy here. And with the Blade Storm in hand, Blackhawk is gonna pop out of heaven and take out his head. TRYOUTS falling one by one. Looks like momentum is back in the favor of Noble Esports. Shark is gonna find a pickoff of his own. Wimp gonna get that spike plant for that extra cash. Money in the bank is always good. Blackhawk's gonna take out Shark. And that is the last man standing, Wimp with 14 HP. Phantom in head, and Hika just takes out his head. 6 rounds for Noble Esports. Man, they're just making it known over and over again that Haven is their domain. And, you know, TRYOUTS, we haven't quite seen much creativity in terms of their approach. We can understand that the fact that this is their debut, they are relying purely on most of their aim. Their ability usage and ability to get information isn't as sharp as Noble Esports here on Haven. So that's where we can see it's kind of lacking. And once more, they unfortunately have to go for the eco.
Yeah, TRYOUTS just not looking as strong as they did on attacking on Ascent as compared to attacking on Haven. Because as you said, it really feels like Noble much more comfortable on Haven. Plus, more importantly, I feel like Noble sort of understanding exactly how TRYOUTS like to approach the match. TRYOUTS, they're a team that play very standard Valorant, and they're able to use that standard Valorant to find the picks. But playing standard also means you're sort of predictable. And now going for that once again, eco rush onto B. Rexy holding down strong. Finds a double. Now Blackhawk coming in will find another. Hiccup with the last, meaning it's a quick 7-1 for Noble. And this is what happens when you give Noble the tempo that they've got in this matchup. They just completely start dominating the other team and making the rounds extremely quick.
The comeback is most definitely real because Noble Esports are reading into every single step and movement that TRYOUTS is trying to do. Now, quick look at the scoreboard, and we do see that Blackhawks leading at the top. This is a little bit of redemption, considering that he was at the bottom of the board the last time around. And this time, he's not going to let his fans down, most certainly. Now, Harsh with the op in hand does have the Blade Storm, and that means it's going to be scary when a Jet has the Blade Storm, kind of to act as, you know, a secondary weapon after the op. So, you know, that is very crucial. Hika gonna throw out some dark covers. A very flashy player now on an agent that's a little bit more tamed, but does have a little bit of space and gateway to be aggressive. Now, Vexy just trailing behind, going to support his team with the Leer, and that is a very aggressive dash from Ghost on that Jet. Vexy spraying towards the defender side spawn. The spike should be able to get planted. We do see a couple of shock darts being thrown up by Rexy. Not gonna connect just yet. Vexy using the Empress, get that extra buff. TRYOUTS are determined to secure their second round. Now Noble Esports, they're pretty much spread out. Nobody exactly backstabbing from the C-Long, but they are looking to make their entry from defender side spawn. And Garage, now 2 for 2 trade is down to a 3v1. No, 3v2 it was. 3v1 it is now. Sammy and Blackhawk, they find Kill. Shark is gonna find another, and Blackhawk is gonna defend his trusty buddy as he gets the defuse off. Harsh secures that with a beautiful 7 seconds to spare. 8 rounds secured for Noble Esports.
Huge plays coming out from Sami on the Empress, getting multiple kills. But like the person like I really have to applaud is Blackhawk. Because this player, we've seen him be a substitute for Global Esports in Series 3. Now as a substitute for Noble Esports. The versatility he shows and the adaptability to be able to fit into both of these teams and fit in perfectly nonetheless. It really is a quality you have to applaud. 14 kills for Blackhawk on that Cypher. He shines irrespective of where you put him on, and that speaks volumes about the kind of player he is. Tryouts, they really just starting to run out of plays, and on the basis of that, once again on the eco round, they're going for an eco rush, this time onto A side, and that's exactly where Harsh on the operator is holding. Harsh will get that first kill, dash right out. Harsh on Jet has been just as good. Man, Noble, they've really become a sort of new team after map 1.
Indeed, and Hiccups gonna find that double. Sammy's gonna chime in and show that, hey guys, don't forget me. Sheriff connects onto the headshot, goes! And he does not find the last kill, but that was really impressive. Noble Esports overall, just being able to work better with each other here. And you know, Ascent was the type of map where there were it allows a lot of long range and long distance duels. So that was where Tryouts could, you know, mostly rely on their raw aim. But when it comes to Haven, there's a lot of corners, a lot of turns, a lot of obstacles, and you know, you gotta be creative. And I think that experience from Noble Esports in this space is kind of showing through. And Tryouts, you know, they're kind of falling behind in that aspect. But you know, nonetheless, still a really great team. Noble Esports, Sammy's gonna be taken down by Phaeton there. Caught off guard, and Harsh with a very close range shot, but you know, it still worked, you still get ahead. Even playing field, once again, 4v4. Harsh covered by the dark cover. Tryouts getting a taste of what is going on. A couple of rounds left till the second half. Ghost will get the plant off. But what is impressive is that Tryouts still manages to get these spike plants off time and time again. It's just a little bit short when it comes to the post-plant positions. And Blackhawk's gonna find one onto Vexy. Hiccups gonna chime in. And it looks like Noble Esports are ready to take all of the attackers down. Harsh puts a dagger right through Phaeton. And Rexy wraps that all up. He's gonna get the defuse off, very much so.
I think the biggest difference and the sort of biggest issue that Tryouts is facing now is that Haven and Ascent, the biggest difference between these maps in the sites is that on Ascent, once you get site control and get the spike planted, it's all about holding particular angles. That's not the case in Haven. In Haven, it's all about setting up the crossfires between your team to make sure that that one particular entry, say from a link or from a sewers, is just completely denied. The setting up of crossfires is something that comes much more easily once you have the experience in doing the same, and that experience really just lacking, I think, for Tryouts right now. Because as you said, even though the same team in terms of getting into the site, getting the spike plant, they're not able to hold on in post plant. Now Sami pushing in aggressively, he got the first kill, but Shakem and Phaeton instantly able to answer back. Neural Theft does come out for Tryouts. They have the information, they have the advantage. Last round of the half, we'll see if they can pull something back.
Harsh missing both shots. Is he gonna win this duel here? He's using the pistol in hand, he sprays, but it's not gonna happen as Phaeton puts a bullet through his head. Tryouts bouncing back in the last round of the first half, something that I didn't quite see coming considering the huge momentum shift highly in favor of Noble Esports, allowing them to display a huge amount of dominance, coming in so massive. 9-round lead is just absolutely nuts, and if Tryouts wants to come back and try to wrap this best of 3 out, it's going to be a massive task. Now Wimp, he will get the spike planted. Rexy, he's going to fire away with the Hunter's Fury, knowing the exact spot. That is experience definitely coming through. The spike has not been planted because Wimp had to move, and Hiccup finds a triple. Last man standing is Shark, and Rexy ends it off. The first half is over with Global Esports taking 11 rounds for themselves. And Tryouts, unfortunately, only one.
Noble Esports, it really does seem like Tryouts, they angered the Beast, and the Beast very much awake now, showing its true colors. Noble Esports dominating on all fronts. Rexy was one of the standout players for Noble coming in from map 1, and he's continuing his form, but the most notable sort of stand-up players in map 2 have been Hush and Blackhawk, really sort of stepping up even with their agent changes and showcasing their merit and their capability as Noble Esports now 11-1. Going into the pistol round, Tryouts, they need to win every round back-to-back to hold some sort of hope of a comeback now. We have seen Tryouts pull off an insane comeback just yesterday, so we know that this team has the mental fortitude to do so, but at 11-1, when a team like Noble has all the tempo, it's going to be insanely hard, so we'll have to see what Tryouts are able to do, because right now Noble going for that B-side execute. Wimp will find a shock dart, Wimp will find another, Wimp with the third, Wimp holding true for Tryouts.
Wimp is going nuts. He is mad. And that classic pistol does him justice. Now Hika's gonna move up. Does he have any idea that Wimp is right around the corner? He swapped that classic out for a frenzy. And the spike has been retrieved. And I believe Wimp did see that. He is gonna place a recompo, but just a little bit too late. Hika, very bold move, but it all worked out in favor for him as he makes the rotation over to the C site. He is gonna have to work very closely with Blackhawk. And Blackhawk might just catch one or two off guard. Takes one, doesn't take the second, and that's gonna be a 4K for Wimp. Will he find the ace? Might just want to change up that gun. He's got the ghost, all about accuracy. And Shock falls to Hika. It's down to the 1v1. Will Wimp find the ace? He fires away 26 HP. And Hika will come out on top, clutching the round for Noble Esports, bringing them to match point.
Match point.
The OG Frenzy player in Hika. He was the player who was using that Frenzy from Series 1, but everyone's like, nah, Frenzy is not the gun to use. Now we see so many players using it, and Hika, the reason why many of these players doing that, like, it's just absolutely phenomenal to see. Even though he switched from the duelist role to a controller role, the sort of personality and the aggressiveness that he carries with himself still very much present. Hika on that Omen, able to find that clutch for Noble. 12-1 now, and Noble, like, I don't think it can be said differently. They've just completely demolished Tryouts on Haven.
Indeed. You have to call a spade a spade. Noble Esports. This is complete dominance over Tryouts. I mean, Noble Esports could look to close it out right here, right now, considering that they do have the advantage. We can look at all the buys here on the scoreboard, and there it is. Tryouts, they are also forcing their buys. Let's see if this is going to work out in their favor, but those light armors might be a little bit tough to work with. Now, Tryouts on the side of defense, we see that they're a little bit closer to one another. Hopefully, you know, going to be able to take the return kills. Not going to be very much independent as of yet. Harsh moving up C-Long. Gonna look for an opportunity. Ghost, very aggressive. I don't think that was the right move as Hika takes him out. Does have the Vandal in hand. Huge investment proves to be useful. Vexy camping in mid by the window. And I don't think he might just find anyone there as of now. Harsh is going to fall to Wimp. And Noble Esports very much ready to take over the A side. Sammy finds the kill onto Shark. And it could all be over for Tryouts because they are a man down. Wimp's going to dash out that roll just to get some info. He does spot Sammy. Hika takes out Vexy. It's down to the 2v4. Tryouts. They are hanging by a thread. Phaeton finds Blackhawk. Hika's going to end it off with a beautiful 4K. Noble Esports take map number 2 in this best of 3 of the quarterfinals.
That was a quick one, Apple.
Yeah, that was... It's really odd because there was a huge shift from such a close game, 13-11 on Ascent, to 13-1 on Haven. It's just mind-boggling, and that just kind of shows quite a number of things in terms of experience and whatnot. But Noble Esports, this is a performance to remember, especially the fact that it happened in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, like the fact that they lose game one and then come back and demolish after losing in game one in then game two. Hika switching to that Omen role. He's like, no fret. I don't need to play a duelist to show off my pure potential. He's the MVP. And we saw the scorecard. Top five players were all Noble Esports. Bottom five players tryouts. So the question really is going to be on whether can Noble carry forward this tempo into map three. Have they sort of destroyed tryouts morale, or will tryouts come back stronger for this?
Indeed, CA and I are going to discuss more about what went down, and you guys should definitely be here for it. We're going to move into Relive the Moment, brought to you by Ideapad Gaming 3 notebook, powered by 4000 series Ryzen processors, perfect for gaming and multitasking. Now, on the topic of tryouts, I made a point about the fact that tryouts is a team that has really good raw aim. It really comes through. You can see that these gun battles, they're really strong, and you see an Ascent where there is a lot of space and a lot of range to play with. That was where they ultimately thrive. Now in Haven, it's a little bit more different. You've got to take a different approach, and Haven is the type of map where abilities are very much important. That's why you run the Reyna. You need the Leer to help you visually impair your opponents in small corners, the twists and turns, the nooks and crannies. And if you look at Jet, she can climb up on very, unsuspecting positions. She can catch people off guard. Omen is great to lay out, all that kind of control along with Cypher, and Sova is purely for information. When you look at all these agents, it is really crucial to use their abilities here in Haven. And for tryouts being so new into this space, that was where they kind of lagged. And Noble Esports, they showed us how to do that brilliantly on Haven. I think that was, the biggest factor. And, coming into the next map, I think tryouts might have to try and figure out how they're going to work around the small disadvantage. So, Noble Esports, it was a very good performance. But hey, it's going to be anyone's game. It's a best of 3. Tryouts secured map number 1. Noble Esports secured map number 2. I'm excited for map 3. What are your overall thoughts so far, CA?
I think the way the map number 2 went, it really just sets the stage for a really interesting map 3, because map 3 is Bind. Bind is also the map where tryouts pulled off one of the most insane comebacks yesterday against Prime Esports, but Bind is the map where they looked extremely shaky in their defensive side, and Noble having won 13-1 in this map, they're going to be brimming with confidence. We know, we've seen in the past, we've seen from Series 1, what happens when Hika is brimming with confidence. He just runs away with the entire game all by himself. I'm talking about the 1v3, 1v4, 1v5 highlight plays. So like for tryouts, it's going to be about, once again, trying to stay even with Noble as much as possible, keeping the pressure onto them, and then trying to win out in that area, because tryouts, they're a disciplined team. Noble, they're a dominant team.
Indeed. All right, guys, you must be at the edge of your seat. Remember, let us know in chat who you are supporting. Remember to like and subscribe. Click that bell icon. You know the drill, because you're going to get juicy notifications whenever we are live. We will be streaming the entirety of the tournament from now on. You will catch every single bracket, in the upper bracket, the lower bracket, the quarterfinals, all the way up to the grand final. So you don't want to miss that. Do check out the links in the description. We have a massive sale on LG monitors, and do follow our socials so you get all the juicy updates related to this tournament. Remember, this is the LG Ultragear TEC Challenger Series 4, powered by Ideapad Gaming and AMD. We have ACT as our fiber partner and AFK Gaming as our media partner. As we prepare for map number 3, don't go anywhere. Grab a drink. You must be thirsty and wanting more. And we'll be back very shortly with tryouts versus Noble Esports. Stay tuned.
Velocity can feel it. Velocity have done it. 3-2. They take the grand finals and are your undisputed champions.
Shivy, he's got to do something about it. The spike is ticking, but Rappa with the triple kill to end it off. Your champions are Team Tamelas.
My eyes are better than yours.
And Hirsch answers back onto his own phone as well.
Let's have some fun, yeah?
Up forward with the paranoia in hand, and it's gonna be Hiko.
You can't catch us.
Corbett answers back onto Harsh being able to take down one.
I'm not just an archer, you know.
One on A long, but Noble Esports they are.
Watch them run.
Wanting to close it out real quickly. The flash comes through from the side of Sammy being able to blind out three.
But Sammy might just take his time, slashing away at the door, and he might just be pulled up upon. There it is, Sammy. But Blackhawk's gonna wrap that up, and that is Noble Esports making their way over to the quarterfinals. And welcome back to the LG Ultragear TEC Challengers Series 4. Powered by Ideapad Gaming and AMD, we have ACT as our fiber partner and AFK Gaming as our media partner. We are back with map number 3 of the first half for today. It is the quarterfinals, best of 3. We saw TRYOUTS versus Noble Esports, where TRYOUTS got map 1 for themselves, and Noble Esports, with a very dominant performance, they got map 2. So let's head over into the veto screen and have a look at what we have in store for map number 3. And that is actually going to be Bind. So, you know, for map 3 being Bind, and from all the different kinds of, you know, analysis that we did, CA, how do you think both teams should approach Bind in particular?
I think for Noble, we're gonna likely see we're gonna see the exact same composition. The only big question is, does Hika continue on to the Omen, or do they go for the Reyna Raze as the duelist and once again do the shifting around? Because Bind is one of the maps where you can prioritize Jet over Raze, Raze over Jet if you choose to, because of the fact that Raze can clear out corners. And on that note, Hika's gonna be on the Omen, but they're also gonna pick up the Raze, and Harsh is gonna play the Raze. I've never seen Hika play something like Hika play in a team where someone else is playing the Raze, so this is gonna be a really interesting sight. But it really just comes down to how good TRYOUTS can be on defense, because their weakest side when we previously saw them on Bind was defense.
Looks like Noble Esports very much ready on the side of attack. And, you know, Harsh, he was the Cypher in map 1, and he did put on a beautiful display of skill. In map 2, he was a Jet, and now he's going to be on that Raze. Talk about versatility. Even Hika, we've known him as a duelist for the longest time, and now he's on the controller. And as for TRYOUTS, we do see that they have got their team composition together, and considering that we don't have as much information about them, you know, we want to see how they're going to fare on map number 3. So how this best of 3 works, you know, the team that wins, they move over to the semifinals in the upper bracket, and the losing team goes down to the lower bracket. So whichever team that doesn't quite make it, it's not the last time that you're going to see them. So don't worry at all, guys. They've got a second chance, but the climb in the lower bracket is significantly harder, because in each tier, you got to play 2 games instead of 1. So I hope you guys are all clear on that. Remember to like and subscribe, click that bell icon so you get notifications whenever we are live. Now back into, you know, let's just talk a little bit more about the action. TRYOUTS versus Noble Esports. First map, it was close. In the second map, it was a huge and dominating performance. Noble Esports 13-1, I believe. And now in map number 3, is it going to be close? Is it going to be a dominant performance from Noble Esports? Or option number 3, is TRYOUTS going to be completely dominant? What do you think about the team compositions, considering that the Raze and the Reyna are the only differing factors?
Yeah, like you see Harsh, he switched out from the Jet, instead now picking up the Raze. Sami gonna go back to his favorite Jet pick. What I'm really interested about though is Rexy staying on that Reyna. Like the last time we did see tryouts on Bind, it was Rexy on that Raze, and I do feel like Bind is that one map where Raze is definitely an S tier duelist pick because of her ability to be able to clear out corners. Like the paint grenade, the boom bot, even the satchel packs to a certain extent are extremely good when you're going for that side push or to delay a particular side push because there is no mate in Bind. So if you're able to use that Raze to just sort of delay a push perfectly, then she becomes absolutely amazing. But at that same time, what tryouts have that Noble do not are those extra flashes. So it's really going to come down to, for me at least, which duelist in Harsh or Rexy is able to use their utility to perfection. If Rexy can help his team set up plays with the help of the flashes, it will be tryouts. But assuming Harsh is on point, like he was on map 2, if he's able to get the multi-kills with that paint grenade, with that boom bot, then it will be Noble continuing their form. 13-11 was map 1. Noble removed one of the ones from tryout score from map 1 to make it 13-1 in map 2. We'll have to see if Noble can continue their form in map 3.
Indeed, just going to put out that recon bolt. Now here we're looking at Sammy in hookah, trying to find an opening kill. Now Bind is particularly tricky solely because, you know, there's no mid area to play around with. You just got to go for a site or you make use of those teleporters to kind of get the advantage with the rotations. It's all about unpredictability. We have yet to see the B-long teleporter used super effectively. I do think the best way is to have someone to bait out and use the teleporter, but actually have the spike moving towards B. And here is the full-on attack coming in from Noble Esports as they make their way onto site. Sammy's looking for a victim. The recon bolt dashed out from Tryout, and they are going to spot a couple. Now the shock dart's going to shoot Sammy extremely low down to 44 HP. He's going to remove the dart, and Ghost charges at him, picks up that kill. Noble Esports shot extremely low. Trials might actually have this, but Noble, they're going to stick it out. Double kill for Rexy. Vexy and Wimp, they both find one. Hicko on the Frenzy signature. That's not going to be a double kill for him because Wimp's going to take him out. Now it's down to Black Hawk up against that Reyna. And Vexy comes out on top time and time again, clutching it out for tryouts. It is absolutely mad how consistent this man is. And the Reyna pick is just so fitting for his playstyle. But there is many more to go because tryouts, they received one round the last time in map 2 and they couldn't come back from it. I'm looking forward to seeing how tryouts is going to take this map number 1 and translate it into more maps for themselves. Sorry, more rounds for themselves.
Yeah, 100%, right? Because for tryouts, it's all about maintaining a sort of even state in the matchup, or at least or a lead for themselves even. Because if you give Noble even that little bit of tempo, they just completely run away with it. They dominate you, and they do. Tryouts doing really well in the pistol round to make sure they pick it up, because a pistol round in the map 3 is just that much more paramount, that much more important, because you want to be able to be the team that is starting off on the right foot. You want to be able to be the team that is able to go into the next round with the buys and not sort of force yourself into that decision like, should I eco, should I force buy? Because ecoing gives that extra bit of tempo to your team. Now Noble, they're on the attacking side and they know for a fact that Noble, they're going to be extremely strong on the defense side because Bind is defense favored. But at that same time, we've seen how good tryouts can be on the attack. So I feel like it all just comes down to the first half. I think Noble, they definitely need to get to a 5 or 6 round score point to be able to make sure that they don't give tryouts too much tempo. So we'll see if they're able to come out on top. So far, it's Rexy on that Reyna really working out. We'll have to see if he can continue doing so or if he's going to miss that race pick of his.
Indeed, and should be an equal round for Noble Esports. They are hovering on A short. Could go for that A short plant. Very popular here on Bind. Pretty relatively easy to execute if you are coordinated with, you know, smoking off the area. And Rexy is gonna get that planted right off the bat with only a few seconds into the round. And Sammy finds the kill on Phaeton. He does spot another, but Vexy's too quick. Always there for the return kill, connecting that headshot as the spike is ticking. It is now in the favor of the attackers, and time is ticking for the defenders. Shock's gonna find one. Harsh with the return. Gonna dash out that satchel just in case one more member was gonna appear right around the corner there in Lamps. Harsh taking out the recon bolt. Ghost is gonna take him out. So does Vexy. 1v2 scenario. Rexy finds one. It's out to a 1v1, 22 HP. He's not gonna come out of it alive as TRYOUTS pick up 2 rounds right off the bat. It wasn't equal for Noble Esports, so I would say that they did play fairly well there. And TRYOUTS being able to maintain the 2-round lead, I would say, you know, both teams, they pretty much got what they wanted.
Yeah, TRYOUTS are going to be happy with the round, but their economy is definitely going to hurt given the fact that 4 members went down. The only person who wasn't able to go down was Ghost, who finished off that round. And if you notice, Ghost, he chose to stick to his Ghost. So he's able to pick up an operator for himself in that 3rd round, and we'll have to see if that operator on Ghost can be impactful. Noble, though, they're going to be happy. That's a good eco round. You got rid of 4 weapons, and going into the next round, they're going to have that better weapons for most of their players. Hika will find that headshot onto Ghost. Ghost not getting the kill will mean the only advantage is weapon situation, but TRYOUTS already down. 4v4 situation, though, as Vexy finds one for himself down in showers. Now you can see Noble, the spike is dropped. They're just looking for picks. They want to take down TRYOUTS and take down the weapons.
Whoa.
And Wimp, 1-for-1 trade. And that's going to be Shock finding the kill on Blackhawk, instantly putting the defenders in a better spot. Double kill, both headshots connecting, and it's all down to Sammy. 1v3 situation with the Vandal, and it looks like this is all playing out in favor of TRYOUTS, who are totally excelling here on the side of defense. Might take Noble Esports a little bit of time to kind of figure out what TRYOUTS are about when it comes to approaching this map. Bind. Sammy inching his way in. He does have the spike in hand. He could attempt this very slowly, just inching his way in, checking all angles. That's exactly what you need to do. But Shark is just too quick. Picks up the triple. And TRYOUTS looking very dominant here in the first few rounds of this beginning here in map number 3.
Huge round coming out from Shock Game. He only has the Bulldog, and the Bulldog, known for only being able to fire 3 bullets at a time. It's a semi-automatic weapon. But he's like, you know what? It doesn't really bother me because I'm going to get headshots every single time. Headshot, headshot, headshot. It's Shock Game being that extremely scary Cypher down at B side. He's that Cypher who makes you like, okay, bro, Cypher is at B, like, we don't really want to go to B. Just try to stick to A. But Noble, they're not the sort of team to back down. They're going back towards B, and this is their eco round. Noble trying to get some damage done. We'll have to see if they can cause an impact, or it will be TRYOUTS making it a 4-round winning streak.
Oh, we see the Hunter's Fury coming out. Both the Cyphers picking up a kill for the team. And Shark is gonna find another. Hika's taking out Ghost. 3v3. And Hika's gonna look to reposition himself. Much needed. Now Rexy just gonna pull it back. They're going for the rotate. They know that all 3 defenders are on the B side. Now it's just a race all the way to A. And Noble Esports, they gotta play this right. There is the Cypher Cage just to block out vision. Rexy there to back them up from A short. And Blackhawks should secure this plant. Now it's up to the defenders to try and take this back. 26 HP. We see Blackhawk coming in for a spray. And they got to do this correctly. Rexy with the Sheriff connects the headshot onto Vexy. And Noble Esports looking to take this back. Blackhawk takes out Phaeton. Shark is the last man standing, but he clutches it out once again. That's the 3rd kill. He's not going to find a 4th. And a thrifty round for Noble Esports. First round under their belt, but well-deserved and indeed very flashy.
Oh, that's gonna hurt the economy of... sorry, that's gonna hurt just the morale of TRYOUTS so much, because they have to be feeling like they were on cloud 9, were having won 3 rounds in a row, but now losing a thrifty round. Noble seems to have sort of just figured out exactly how they want to approach the game against
I will
TRYOUTS,
find it.
and that's fast, quick executes. Try to find and picks and make a lot of noise before, and more importantly, before using that teleport that is just sort of unique to Bind to find that rotation for themselves. This is how I prefer Noble to be playing, because their mechanical potential really does come out on top in this style of play. But now Rexy with that Vandal will find the headshot onto Sami, take him down. Sami playing a bit too aggressive, will get caught out. 5v4 for TRYOUTS, and once again Noble, the spike is left behind, but this time TRYOUTS on the flank, they have information of where the spike is.
Now Ghost puts a dagger right into the head of Blackhawk, just ending him off there. Noble Esports, Harsh trying to pull it back for his team. Hika's gonna find one for himself onto Vexy. And Harsh just lurking in A short. Spike has yet to be planted, and now the Neural Theft is gonna put them in a very... Sorry, not the Neural Theft, the Recombo. Gonna put them in a little bit of a compromised state. Hika making his move. Harsh just gonna back away. What will Noble Esports do? 1-for-1 trade down to a 2v2, and it's up to the attackers to set the pace. It seems like they are cornered. They know where the defenders are, but they're not gonna go for the plant just yet. It's gonna retrieve the spike. The showstopper from Harsh picks up a double, rendering it a total of a 4K. Harsh is an absolute madman, and I totally see why he has been put on that raise. Man, Harsh is showing up big today.
Yeah, Harsh showing up huge in that round is the reason Noble able to continue onto their tempo and pick up yet another round. Now having lost 2 rounds back to back, TRYOUTS, they're going to be forced into an eco round, and that's going to give Noble a chance to make the scoreline even for themselves. We'll have to see if Noble can continue their tempo, because right now, as you said, every single player of Noble really stepping up. We've seen a really insane play coming out from Hika to clutch around. We've seen Rexy really stepping up, and we've seen Harsh in that last round picking up that 4K. So now the onus really on Noble Esports to continue their tempo, and on TRYOUTS to sort of recollect themselves. Now on their eco round, try to get as much damage as they can, maybe even try to pull out their own thrifty round.
Indeed, and we do see Phaeton here. He's gonna be shot to his death. Sammy sprays him right through the crates. And TRYOUTS immediately caught in a pickle. They gotta try to get the economy back. If they could get a few kills, it would be a round very much worth it. Neural Theft is available for Shark. He makes his way down B long, but Ghost is gonna find the headshot onto Sammy. Whip with the Hunter's Fury, picks up one. Hika gets a kill for himself, down to a 3v3. And Rexy is just waiting very patiently. Might be an A-shot push, or they could look to go into the teleporter. But they have to keep note that, you know,
30
the
seconds
Cypher on
left.
the side of defense, he will be very much ready to stop the rotation. So Noble Esports caught in a bit of a pickle. Hiccup might just pop that ultimate to make it well worth. And there it is. Shark is gonna find one kill onto Rexy. It's up to Blackhawk to get a return, but he doesn't. Shark has single-handedly actually saved this round as he finds a beautiful double right there onto B short. Now Hika has got the spike planted, but it's a 1v3 situation. He's gonna be sandwiched from both directions. That's gonna be one kill. He's got 2 more to go for. Hika, he might just be shot in the back of the head. He's pretty exposed, and Vexy finds the kill. TRYOUTS able to save their very own round. And that is going to be a shared defuse 4 rounds for TRYOUTS. Thrifty for them instead. If you can do it, we can do it too. The statement that what the defenders are exactly making right here for us to witness.
Yeah, I think personally for me, it's the way, like, what's the name? The way Shark Aim just able to hold on to that TP area and make sure that he's getting the headshots. That sort of clutched around, as you said, for TRYOUTS. But here, Hika. So he gets the 1 kill onto Shark Aim down at Hooker, but then he really doesn't have to aggress towards the halls area. Trying to catch someone off ends up actually exposing himself, as you said. He had the paranoia to his name, and he simply did not necessarily had to push in aggressively. That pushing in aggressively was the reason he ends up getting caught out. Huge plays from Shark Aim though to get tryouts their own thrifty round, like that is gonna be huge for their morale and is really gonna hurt the confidence of Noble Esports coming into this round. Now both teams with full buys is gonna become the question of once again, can Ghost with the operator, he's holding down from Hey Heaven, can he be impactful? Noble though, they understand that the operator very likely operator usually towards that A side, they're all grouping towards B and that's where they want to go. We'll have to see if Noble like can sort of pull back the tempo or if tryouts continue, because right now Wim getting the first kill. Hika instantly answers back though, Shah came with one, but Sami on that Blaze Storm will find another 3v3 already. The spike will go down and it's going to be up to tryouts on that retake. Ghost on the operator.
And this is going to be pretty tough. Now Ghost here trying to get his shot off. Just going to watch elbow for a bit, but Noble Esports, they're going to take their time to approach to do this, as you know, they had the spike planted and tryouts. They're gonna go for the retake. Rexy's gonna find Sammy, and it looks like it's leaning in the favor of the defenders. Ghost is gonna swap out that gun and gonna get a bit of damage there. Now Rexy just waiting and playing. He's gonna find one, but the defuse might just go off, and there it is. Tryouts secure the 5th round, and Rexy is gonna lose his life as well. Now tryouts have come into bind with a vengeance. It seems like they definitely know how to approach this map a lot better than what we saw in Haven. That's why, you know, in our head, we can't exactly rule tryouts from the equation just from a bad performance in one map, because different teams have different styles. They excel in very different areas as well. They're not all going to be the same. And I think that is the beauty and what we love about these teams. You see their flaws, but you also see their strengths. And right now, Noble Esports, I think they're a little bit caught off guard with how well-versed tryouts is, at least on the defensive side here in Bind.
Yeah, I think for me, like the biggest change in tryouts has been Vexy on that Reyna. Like yesterday, tryouts they looked extremely, they didn't look as great on defense, and now that they're able to sort of solidify their defense, it really just sort of makes this last matchup that much more interesting. Now Shah came finding that one kill, Hush found the return, but Wimp with a double headshot, meaning it's once again tryouts with the lead. Tryouts coming out strong here.
Wimp finding that triple, and it seems like the momentum is highly in favor of the defenders. But you know, that double kill pulled off by Wim, and here he is able to dodge the fate of Rexy's Hunter's Fury, which is actually quite deadly, because Rexy picks up many kills with that ultimate. Then being able to pick up this double here, a big mistake from Hika and Blackhawk, walking up for that collateral, and Wim finding that kill onto Rexy was just a cherry on top. Man, tryouts, they mean war, and they should actually take as many rounds as possible if they do fare better on the side of defense. So, you know, there is a lot less stress when it comes to them on the side of attack when it comes to the second half of this map, number 3. As for Noble Esports, they've got to be a bit more coordinated. They've got to pull out a bit more wombos and combos, putting their skills to good use. The thing is that, you know, looking at the composition of Noble Esports, there's not a lot of vision impairment. And I think, you know, tryouts with the Reyna, that Lear does come in very handy. But, you know, if anything, Noble Esports, I would like to think that they have the creativity to kind of make it work and to show us why they decided that this team composition is going to be the way to go. So, you know, magic number 4, Noble Esports should look to secure at least 4 rounds here in the first half of this map, number 3.
Yeah, 100%, because without those 4 rounds, it would just give tryouts an unprecedented amount of comfort going into the attacking side. But now, back to the action, it's gonna be the Cypher for Noble just lurking Blackhawk towards A. But the rest of his team, though, aggressively pushing towards B. The grenades have already come out from Hush, making a bunch of noise towards B and forcing out the rotations for Tryout. But Tryout so far playing extremely disciplined. Patan finding that kill, Sami instantly finds the return, though. The rotations have yet not come out for tryouts, and Noble could use this as an opportunity to just take the side for themselves. But Noble, they're still hesitant. They think that the rotations have come out and they've not committed just yet. They might just take the TP. But with those Cypher cages coming out, I think this is going to be a B-side push for Noble.
Revealing area.
Indeed, Noble Esports, they are dishing out everything that they can just to get that information. Now that Recon Bolt is going to spot out a couple of attackers. Wimp's going to find that kill onto
30
Rexy.
seconds
Noble
left.
Esports falling short once again, but Blackhawk and Sammy, they're going to pull it back. And now it's down to a 2v2. It looks like Ghost has got to go for the rotate as Vexy's the only man on site. The spike is yet to be planted, but that's going to be taken care of from that trusty Cypher. Now it's all down to the defenders to go for this retake. They got to play their cards right. Blackhawk fires away, and Sammy gets caught off guard by Ghost, and Blackhawk, last man standing, he sprays, and that is one. But Vexy does it once again, clutches it out, and it seems like Vexy's always the one to get the return kill and consistently does it. And this is the second time this map where he's able to secure a round for TRYOUTS. 7 in total, 5-round lead. He's gonna get this defuse off easily in time. This is TRYOUTS making a name for themselves. Who would have thought that they are making Noble Esports look so little here?
Yeah, TRYOUTS, like, I especially have to applaud their discipline, because even though Noble made a bunch of noise towards B, the rotation from Vexy and Ghost came very much late in the round, understanding that their team is capable of holding down this side by themselves and only going for the rotation once Noble have made their way onto site, once the noise of that spike plant has gone through. And after that, in that 2v2 situation, you see, as you said, right, Vexy, he plays it very smart. He checks his own corner, but making sure to stay behind his teammate at all times so that he's able to clean up if Ghost does ever go down. Making sure that now TRYOUTS 7-2, Noble, they're going to be forced onto a really just bad position where they have to go for the light shields with the weapons. We'll have to see if Noble can fight through, because right now Noble's economy really hurting. Wimp getting that first kill onto Hush will make it even worse. Sammy dashed in and he's going to pay by God. Vexy and Ghost. Oh my God.
Ghost, what was that flick? That was insane! He repositioned himself and still manages to catch that kill. That was absolutely insane. Noble Esports just down to Blackhawk. And sorry, it's not Blackhawk, it's actually Hika. Down to Hika and Rexy try and bring it back. Hika does find one kill, but Noble Esports, it seems like the momentum is just not working for them. Hika's gonna pull it back. Might look for a teleporter play. And Hika, with a little bit of a bamboozle. But I don't think Esports is going to be able to do... Oh, that is actually
30
interesting.
seconds left.
So now with the ultimate TRYOUTS, they have decided, you know what, we are going to go for the rotate. Rexy is transporting the spike, and it's up to Hika to kind of defend him and watch all angles. But that Recon Bolt is going to spot out Hika. He's in a bad spot. Phaeton finds the kill, and Shark's going to take out Rexy. The coordination from TRYOUTS is just absolutely nuts. They seem so in their element, and it is definitely coming through. Now, with only a couple of rounds left, Noble Esports should really look to take the last 2 rounds here in the first half, or, you know, a comeback's going to be really difficult.
Yeah, definitely, right? Because the discipline for TRYOUTS is absolutely amazing. Even though Hika goes for that really sort of 5-air play where he uses the shouted step in conjunction with the TP to fake the TP, TRYOUTS is like, guys, we don't have to worry. Our Cypher is set up in A site. He has his trap wires ready. He has his camera ready. And if they actually come to A site, we will be the first to know. There's no need for unnecessary rotations. And they do that brilliantly. After that, when Hika teleports onto heaven, they're like, the Cypher in shock aim is like, guys, my camera doesn't see anything. Because naturally it means that he's only at heaven, because that's the only angle my camera doesn't cover. And that communication going through, meaning that the recon bolt goes towards heaven and TRYOUTS able to cover every single angle. The communication and coordination, as you said, for this team on point, and now looking towards showers. Will not be able to find Sammy and Hush. Instead, Sammy and Hush finding the kills, but Ghost will find one, make it 4v3.
Oh, Sammy puts a dagger right into Ghost's heart before the dark cover comes down. But this is the Noble Esports that we need, where they come in just completely unexpected. But Shark, he's ready to take it back. Drops the neural theft, and he knows exactly where you are. The spike is ticking. He's got to play this right, going for the defuse. Where is his buddy? He's got to back him up.
Oh my God.
And
oh my God.
By Wimp is going to pick up a kill. Wimp picks up a double, and that is how you go
Oh
for a
my God.
successful retake. Wimp is just
Last
playing out
round
of his
in the
mind
half.
here. Tryouts. I don't think their team name does them any justice because they don't look like tryouts at all. They look perfectly comfortable in their element. And if anything, you gotta know that Ascent and Bind is where they are most comfortable.
That's exactly what I call a top tier IGL. Wimp is like, Shakem, go for the diffuse. I got you. And he got him certainly. Shakem just casually going for the full diffuse. Wimp able to cover him so well. Just absolutely brilliant play from Tryouts.
This is
And
my
magic
spot.
number 4 is no longer going to be
Just goes
possible,
here.
Apo. And this just feels like Tryouts
goes
running
there.
away with the map the way Noble did
This
in
is my
map 2.
spot.
Like the
Yes.
biggest question after map 2 was, does the Noble sort of demolishing and dominating the way they did in map 2, does it sort of break Tryouts or sort of motivate them to come into map 3 to do their own domination coming in map 3? It definitely seems like the latter, because Tryouts, they took that loss in map 2 in stride and they came into map 3 with a vengeance. 9-2 now. This team absolutely phenomenal, and Ghost on that operator, he's been so impactful, so instrumental to his team's success.
Indeed, Tryouts is just absolutely on fire. And the thing is, you can look at, Phaeton, he is right at the bottom of the board, and following that is Ghost. But we have seen very impactful frags, and that ultimately matters because depending on where you get these kills can change the tide of a game. And Shark, oh man, he is the captain of defense right here, just playing absolutely out of his mind. And the pure synergy amongst these members in tryouts, it feels like, hey, these guys have had a good time playing together.
Get out
We
of my
see
way.
that it works. The communication comes through. And Noble Esports, it's pretty unfortunate to see that they are kind of shaking in their boots. They might have to just, kind of rethink, go back to the drawing board, because in no way are the players in Noble Esports weak, because they have that mechanical skill. We have seen it throughout the entire course of the many series in the TEC Challenger series. So here's going to be Harsh now lurking in Hookah, and the dark cover is going to impair him. But I do feel that the waiting game is not exactly right. Noble Esports, they should look to make a few rotations, have a lurker. And
Here.
Vexy is scouting the area. He might look for a backstab. This is Black Hawk here, chilling in the garden. Sammy, looking for that opportunity. And, typical Noble Esports fashion, get a pick on the 2. And depending on that, they're going to go for the plant. And Shark comes on at the right time, picks up a double. Hickup's going to get a return, but it's still a 4v3. Tryout with the man advantage. Rexy tries to find one, but that's going to be a 1-for-1. Not quite. It's a 1-for-2. And Sammy, last man standing, he picks up one 1v2 situation. And that is Phaeton Spray taking out a chunk of health away from Sammy. And he's not exactly looking at the right spot. Phaeton does go down. This is the Sammy we know, but Vexy with the backstab. Time and time again. He will clutch
Switching
out
sides.
Trials, and that is double digits for the defenders.
Rexy is such a smart player throughout the round. Even like when Sami took the TP, you could see that he was tracking Sami. Basically, Sami was that lurker for Noble Esports, and Rexy is like, you know what? I'm just gonna track this guy while you guys hold on to this site. On that tracking spree is when Rexy able to find the flank onto Sami and take him down. Sami with no knowledge of Rexy's positioning, just being caught completely by surprise. And that's 10 rounds for Tryouts, double digits in the first half of this deciding map in the upper bracket quarterfinals. Tryouts leaving everything down on the table. They're giving it their all, and they're defying the odds while doing so. After having going down 13-1, I don't think anyone would have considered that Tryouts would have been able to be as dominant as they've been here. So we'll have to see if Noble can find their own brand of success going down into defense, because now that Noble are on defense, they need to pick up round after round after round to make sure that they're able to pull off some sort of hope of a comeback. Now, TRYOUTS, the way they like to play on attack, especially on bind, is that for the first 20 seconds or so of the map, of the round, they spread themselves out. They look for those picks. But once that 20 to 25 second mark elapses, that's when they start grouping up, and then they commit to a site, leaving themselves enough time to potentially rotate if that site doesn't work out. But for now, they're going to commit to B side. Blackhawk, though, is going to find the first kill onto the Ghost, who, again, the TP does come out for the side of Noble Esports. Sammy waiting in that TP trying to cause some damage, but Vexy knows exactly where he is, looking for that duel against Sami. But meanwhile, in the side will be Archer and Nika getting one. Sami making sure Vexy is occupied, meaning Sami is able to find the last kill, and Noble Esports with the retake, able to find that pistol round. Team Ace is a brilliant way to start off your defensive half, to start off your comeback, sort of reassure the entire team that, hey, we got this in the bag. We just need to play extremely smart, not make any lasting mistakes. Now, for me, for TRYOUTS, it's going to be all about whether or not they can try to sort of find their own tempo within the game, their own style, because what Noble Esports have definitely done is likely seen TRYOUTS match from yesterday, seen the way they like to attack, and sort of understood for themselves like, hey, this is their play style. We just have to play a specific way to counter it. We just have to play disciplined and wait for them to choose a particular side. And TRYOUTS now looking to change it up, going for the A side rush. They just end up running into the hands of Eka and Harsh. Flawless round for Noble. Team Ace in the first round, after flawless in the second. If this is a comeback, Noble Esports starting it off really well.
Indeed, and TRYOUTS, you know, it's really close for them to close it out. They would need just 3 rounds, but Noble Esports, if they can hang on and go for these consecutive wins, they could just actually take this away. So, you know, this is where it's gonna get spicy, it's gonna get hot, and both these teams have to settle the score right here, right now in map number 3. And looking at the scoreboard, seems like Hika's picking up. Doesn't matter if he's on a controller or a duelist, he's still gonna show the party a good time. Now the drone does go out, sorry, and it's looking for a little bit of information. Ghost here, just lurking, ghosting his way through the showers. Gonna pull it back. Vexy finds a pick over to Harsh. That's gonna be a double onto Sammy, and that's mad because Noble Esports losing 2 members. TRYOUTS could actually take this, and Rexy and Heka, they're gonna find the kill, and TRYOUTS not so much in a good spot anymore, as Noble Esports, they're gonna show that defense is their domain as well. Rexy, he sprays, he's gonna take out Ghost, and it's down to just 2 members of TRYOUTS. Rexy, he's running for his life, but Wim puts a bullet right in his back. Noble Esports is gonna lose Hika as Vexy finds a triple. Vexy is holding it out for his team, an incredible member, and the spike is making its way over to the A site, so Vexy's gonna make his way too as well. Man, this is hectic.
30
Blackhawk,
seconds left.
it's all down to him. 1v2, Wim gets the spike planted. Man, how is this going to turn out?
Wimp doesn't have the back of a Vexy just yet. Just needs to hold on while he gets that. Vexy, he has made his way onto site now and will be giving that backup from heaven. But Lamps will be where the showdown occurs. Wim gets tagged really low, but will back off, will throw the shock dart to delay any sort of push from Blackhawk. Blackhawk is hunting, knows that he does not have time on his side. And this plant done expertly for the heaven play from Vexy. Wimp will find that kill, and post like the place where you choose to plant your spike can be so important in rounds. And Wimp with that planning in advance, like, hey, Vexy is gonna come into heaven, I'm gonna go towards CT side, and that plant will automatically favor both of us.
Indeed, yeah, the way they moved their positions, it was actually well coordinated, and Noble Esports that we thought that they might just have it, but TRYOUTS securing 11 rounds, it's just gonna get a lot harder and more pressurizing for Noble Esports. But let's see what they can do here. Wimp, he's gonna recombo, he's gonna just dash that out, get some information. Sammy has all the abilities on hand with the Bucky. Pretty creative here, and you know, Jets with their shotguns. It does work really well considering that Jet has a lot of mobility, and it allows for, you know, shotguns to work. Now Rexy here with the Phantom in hand waiting for a bit. He does see some bullets firing across. The Lear thrown in by Vexy into hookah. And tryouts, they are going to pull it back and go for the A site instead. We do see the little pings on the site. Now Vexy, very much ready. Harsh has the paint shell in hand. Noble Esports, they're sniffing something. And, you know, I think they might have an idea here, CA.
Yeah, Noble Esports definitely have the idea of what is about to happen, and that paint grenade with the trap fire could do a huge amount of damage. Boombot barely misses though, but Harsh does not. Harsh will get that kill, make it 5v3 for Noble, but the TP was taken by Tryouts, and they're going
30
towards
seconds
B.
left.
It's gonna be up to Rexy to hold down this site against Vexy and Wimp. Vexy looking for Rexy, will be able to find him down and make it 3v3. Now it's gonna be up to Noble Esports on the retake. The shots do come through from Hika as he tries to delay the plant. Will not let it happen though. The Empress will come for Vexy. If he can just get one kill, the resets would be absolutely humongous. But he doesn't need to because his teammate...
Vexy!
Shark! Oh my god.
Shark and Vexy are absolutely
Match point.
insane. Did you see the pure patience on Vexy knowing that he only had 24 HP? And he played that to brilliance, popping that Empress. Shark was watching his back right from, I believe, Hookah or Garden, and that was just nuts. That Recombo gave him that information, took that kill, double kill on
No
Shark.
prisoners.
That was absolutely nuts. But match point for Tryouts, who would have thought that in the quarterfinals, Noble Esports could potentially be pushed to the lower bracket, considering that they did place third in the Challengers Series 2. This is insane. Tryouts, they're making headlines. This is actually an upset.
I mean, we've already seen one amazing upset in Series 4 with Papa Boys. It looks like it's time for number 2. Tryouts a brand new team. About to take down Noble Esports, but Noble Esports, you cannot count them out just yet. They have to win 8 rounds back to back, and that's an almost impossible task, but it is not necessarily impossible. If a team is able to do it, it's definitely one of Noble's caliber. They've already got the first blood in this round. They just need to push forward and try to gain as much tempo as they can. But Tryouts, they're known to be such a disciplined team, always willing to be patient. Now pushing in aggressively, will spot out Rexy with that recon bolt on time. Wimp will take him down, Rexy with another. Instantly the tables have turned and it's Tryouts with the advantage. 4v3 on the map, the spike will go down. Tryouts looking to just hit Noble down to the lower bracket.
Vexy finding an opportunity for his team. The spike has been planted, and now Noble Esports, they are under pressure. They're under a timer. They have a huge disadvantage. 8-round dominance from Tryouts, and Harsh lurking an elbow. He might just come into contact with a few. It is really crucial for Harsh to pick up multiple kills. Now Vexy's gonna take out Black Hawk, and Fatal finds Harsh. It's all down to Hiccup with only 31 HP. He finds one, but it's still a 1v3 scenario. And look at Tryouts with their discipline. They're gonna stay, they're gonna play with time, they're gonna wait, and Hiccup knows it's over because Phaeton is gonna wrap that up. And that is Tryouts moving over to the semifinals in the upper bracket. What an insane best of 3 here in the quarterfinals. Who are these guys? They named themselves Tryouts. Are they doubting their potential? Because they just put on a crazy show for us here today, CA.
I mean, Tryouts, they can no longer be considered underdogs. They can no longer be considered dark horses. This is very much a team to watch out for. They're going to push Noble to the lower bracket. And Vexy on that arena, for me, that was the biggest question mark coming. That and Tryouts on defense was the biggest question mark coming into map 3. They showed that their defense was extremely strong. And Vexy, he shows us with that 21 kills, he's the MVP, able to carry Tryouts to the semifinals. Absolutely amazing gameplay from that team.
Indeed. Now let's head over into Relive the Moment, brought to you by Ideapad Gaming 3 notebook, powered by 4000 series Ryzen processors, perfect for gaming and multitasking. And we're going to talk about what went down in this insane best of 3. So, you know, we discussed a lot throughout the entirety, so let me just try to go over it in a very summarized fashion. Now, map 1, it was close on Ascent. It was 13-11 in favor of TRYOUTS, but in Haven, Noble Esports completely dominated them. It was a 13-1. So that kind of put, a question mark in our head. Like, how is TRYOUTS going to take this back considering such a huge dominant performance from Noble Esports? But in Bind, TRYOUTS completely blew us away. That was the most coordinated that we have ever seen them. And they were just in the right place, right time. They showed so much discipline when it came to playing around the spike, playing around the objectives. And Noble Esports, they just kind of fell short. And I do feel that the absence of Psy might be, a factor, considering that I do believe that Psy is in IGL. And, that is a very important component of a team. So, Noble Esports, this isn't the last time for them. They can move into the lower bracket and definitely try to climb their way back up. And we know the potential that Noble Esports has. So, hopefully they do show themselves up in the semi-finals. But as for TRYOUTS, man, this was a great performance. Who is Vexy? Who is Whim? Who are these guys? They're letting you know that they are down to get it going and they mean business. Do let us know what your thoughts are here, CA.
I think the way they approach Bind really shows, at least to me, that they're a team that took the fact that they went to overtime very seriously after yesterday. They went back to the drawing table. They understood their weaknesses coming in to bind this map, and those weaknesses were not at all present in map 3. I saw instead a TRYOUTS that was completely fortified on their defense, able to hold down their angles extremely smartly, and able to hold on to any unnecessary rotations, preventing Noble Esports from playing any mind games with them. The discipline of TRYOUTS really is what ended up reigning supreme. TRYOUTS, they're going to be that team to watch out for. And Vexy on that Reyna, that's going to be a player to keep your eye on for sure. But as you said, Noble, this is not the last we've seen on them. I'm sure we'll see Noble and Psy back with a vengeance coming in from the lower bracket. So more just to watch in better action for all of us all around.
Indeed, that is a wrap for our first half. TRYOUTS versus Noble Esports. We hope that Noble Esports will continue fighting their way up in the lower bracket, but ultimately, congratulations, TRYOUTS. You guys have qualified over to the semi-finals in the upper bracket. This is such a great day. The Challenges Series 4 has really shown that a lot of these teams, there are a lot of stronger teams and a lot of teams that kind of, they've got everything together. So it's going to be really close. And for the second half at 7 p.m., we're going to have Reckoning Esports go up against Godlike Esports. So that is one to watch. Godlike Esports placed second in the last Challenges series, which was number 3. And Reckoning Esports, they've been around. They showed us their strength and they're ready to show us what plans they have in store. If they've got anything new, it's going to be exciting. So remember to like and subscribe. Click that bell icon so you get notifications when we're live. Remember, it is 7 p.m. We want to see you there. We have a massive sale on LG monitors, and do follow our socials as links are in the description. My name is Apollonia. I am your host and caster, and joining me was CA caster and analyst, and we hope to see you guys at 7 p.m. later. So do stay tuned. Until then, happy gaming, y'all.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. Let's make the most of this night. Come on, baby, take my hand. And we don't need to do the things we